And we even have Jim popping in just in time for us to go live. How's everybody doing?
Great.
I want David to get back on here because I'm sure he's got grievances to air. So if you've been paying attention to anything he's been saying lately. Anyway, anybody got any grievances to air?
No, I don't really. Things are going good for me right now, so no, I'm going to try to stay positive.
All right, anybody else?
I have no grievances.
Have no grievance? Okay, well, I finally got my my Railroad Revolution in the mail, but of course it was beat to bejesus and back, so the box is all fugged up. Which, fine, whatever. The game inside, will play just fine. I sent them an email. I'm not expecting a response at all, which is, whatever, fine. But still, it's annoying. It's just like, how it sat somewhere in Germany in some airport for 3 months, and stunningly, it did not arrive at my door in good shape. But I don't know. I took pictures of the box, sent an email. We'll see what happens. If all else fails, I'll just pony up the dough once it hits normal distribution and give that copy away as a demo copy somewhere or something.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bless you.
Anybody get anything new?
What?
Anybody get anything new?
I found out that my tooth that I was gonna have a root canal on. The crack goes all the way down into the root that they didn't find with the original. So yeah, they're just going to yank the tooth and put a replacement in. So I'm looking forward to that money being spent. Strangely, my tooth barely hurts. Yeah, like the crack.
Not the root.
Yeah,
the root.
The root.
The root.
The root is on fire.
The root is on fire.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to spending a couple $1,000s on that. But, oh well.
I'll rip it out for you for free.
Yeah, man. For 500, I'm your man.
like I told my dentist, I said just yank it and let's just be done with it. Who cares, right? And he said, well, the problem is it's the second molar. And he said that when you have a gap in there like that, it causes all the other teeth around it to start moving around and lots of bad stuff happens. And he said, and you're not old enough to get really a bridge because a bridge won't last really long. I was just like, okay. So he said, this will cost you about $700 more, but then you'll basically just have a permanent tooth for the rest of your life.
I got a little bit of trivia for you for this, Lance.
All right, go for it.
For $500, I'll take your tooth, the root, the whole damn thing.
Nice little Quint reference there. That's easy, though. I mean, obviously.
It is, but come on. I mean, what did you expect?
Yeah,
90% of the time, if I'm going to do a movie reference, it's going to be Jaws or Star Wars.
I have a grievance.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Okay.
It's root, not root.
That's the upper Midwesterner thing going on. So,
Hey, Lance, I just sent you a picture. Can you show it on the screen?
Okay.
Pete,
wow.
You should do Princess Bride references.
Why did you send me naked pictures of your wife?
Whoa.
Oh shit! Wrong picture.
Here, I'll share. Hold on. I'm assuming this is for your new game.
Yeah, I wanted to share it with you guys first. This is unfinished artwork, but it just impressed me so much I had to share it with someone.
And there you go.
Oh,
what do you guys think?
Very nice.
Cool.
I didn't know you were some weird gypsy lover.
That is the dancer card. There are 6 virtuosos in the game.
So now when you have dancers at your booth, it'll make all that much sense. So I really want. Yeah, it is. I really want Scott to get on here because I want to talk to him about the new VIP BGCon badge. I want to rake him over the coals for it, but yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Did anybody read about that? Did you see about that? Did you read that? Did you see that? Did you check that out?
Yep, I saw it.
Did any of you not see it?
I did not.
Basically, they're going to sell VIP tickets that give you a bunch of bennies. Probably the most important one is that you're guaranteed a room at the hotel, but you still have to pay for the hotel. And then there's a bunch of other things like you get to pre-reserve a single game or something. And Keith might remember it better than I do.
It's basically the VIG from Gen Con, almost, not quite, but
well, they're not going to have their own special room.
Right, so it is. You get a badge, you get the guaranteed ability to buy a second badge for someone else. You get a guaranteed room at the Hyatt. You can pre-reserve a game. You get a T-shirt, and you get a expedited check-in at the hotel. And I think that about covers it. And Lance gives you an old fashioned.
a drink.
No, not a drink.
An old fashioned what? Yeah, that's what I want to know.
No, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it in a Dutch auction, which basically they're going to start it off with $1,000.
A Dutch oven.
Yes,
auction.
that too. A Dutch auction, and they're going to slowly.
Each day it drops by $50.
Yeah, each day. Is it each day or each week or I don't know what it was.
Each day it drops by $50.
And
until 150 have been sold, or the 21st of February.
So there's been a couple of people who have said, like, oh well, why, do you get to, like well, a few people are, oh, the 1%ers win again, just like, some standard stuff like that. And then the other one was that, like, well, what if you get in on it like cheap or something like that, and then you decide that you wanna, like do it or something, like basically, so if you buy it at $1,000 and it got down to say 300, the person who paid 1,000 should get $700 back.
No, it was worth $1,000 to them. That's how it was.
Well, I know, but I'm saying I believe in that. I'm just saying what the other people.
The other perk was if you buy in, you get the ability to buy in the next year as well before it goes live for everyone.
See, and that's, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's worth $1,000, but obviously it's, it's not bad, I mean, it's an interesting idea. They've tried to do some of these random things before where they've like tried to have like varying levels of like BGG ness, if you will. I remember like 5 or 6 years ago, there was one that they kind of thought about putting through, and then it kind of, it fizzled out. It never happened. I mean, I don't know. I doubt they're going to get a huge amount of blowback on this, but there's a lot of talk. If you go check out the thread, it's fairly interesting. I mean, people seem fairly even keeled about it so far, but there is a definitive like theory, like, oh, this is just the beginning. This is the slippery slope, type of thing for the way BGG is rolling and where it's going.
Slippery slope into what?
Well, it's just like that BGG is, even though yes, it is a business, it's going to be more a business. It isn't going to be like, I don't know, like a family, like it isn't going to be like a site that's for the people, of the people, whatever you want to call it. It'll start just being like some sort of money-making machine instead.
It's 150 tickets at that price. It's 5%.
Well, yeah, and it's not like, you'd still be able to get one. I don't know. It's just, it's weird. It's like, they're going to have to sell them earlier, right? I mean, or maybe, I don't know.
It goes up early. It starts in February, and it's like a month before the actual tickets go on sale.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna buy one. I mean,
Well, I'm not either. I can't afford it. But people that want it will, and people that don't won't.
Well, and if I had $1,000 kicking around, I doubt I'd do
still
it.
wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever, Especially since they're going to be going to the larger venue. Like, not this next year is the last year in Dallas, right?
No, 2 more years in Dallas.
2 more years in Dallas.
2019 is when it moves.
Hmm.
But again, you also don't have to worry about it because you've got somebody that'll hook you up with a badge.
Well, yeah, that's called my job.
Or Aldi would take care of you too.
No, he wouldn't.
I just want to say about that whole thing about somebody takes care of your badge. You're more than welcome to come work in the industry and make about 1/4 of what we normally make outside in the real world.
Oh, I've been waiting, David. I want to give you the floor. Do you have any grievances you want to air?
Limited to 3. Limited to 3.
My only grievance is still just general hypocrisy that I'm seeing right now. That's all.
No. See, I would like to hear I guess a condensed version of your 1.5 hours of live Facebook.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't tune in. I couldn't tune in to all of it, but I did listen to about 15 minutes.
That was what that was all about, though. And no matter what you say or what you do, no matter how much fact you put into something, people will always just twist the words to mean whatever they want, and we don't live in an intellectually honest society anymore. We can't actually be allowed to change our own opinion because I guess we feel like we're being traitors to our cause or something, and that's just really sad to me. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Own up to it and admit to it and move on. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. So that's my only grievance. There's just way too much anger thrown at somebody before they've even had a chance to do anything, no matter if you like them or not. And calling for things to be done when they don't call the previous people out who've done the same thing. That annoys the hell out of me. So I tell people all the time over and over, I am not a Trump supporter. I don't like the man. But don't, try to pull, well, he's an authoritarian when the last president used executive orders to bypass Congress and try to implement law, which is an abuse of the Constitution, and not call him out on it. So it's just that kind of stupid stuff. Every president does good things. Every president does bad things. But the way that they let some stuff go and try to call people out for other stuff before it's even happened is just crazy. But nothing pisses me off more than Hillary Clinton. That's all. Nothing.
Don't hold back. Say what you really feel.
All right, somebody who was military intel and understands how important that is and all the training you go through, and then to watch the complete and utter cover-up of what she did and how she got away with all that, and then people saying, oh, but the FBI found her guilty. I'm sure they did. Just like O.J. Simpson was guilty or innocent. I mean, it's that kind of stupid crap that that pisses me off. So technically, by law, Hillary Clinton should not have been allowed to run for president. And they're calling Donald Trump illegitimate after a woman who rigged her own election and then swept under a jail sentence was able to run for president.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate against you because I don't want to. I'm not trying to wind you up, but I mean,
I wouldn't get wind up. It's just everybody in the intel community came out and said she's guilty. Everybody. There's no excuse. So all it took was the actual willfully intent to destroy evidence. That was the only thing that needed to be proven, and it was proven. So, that's that whole thing. So, if you can't trust this woman with classified documents after 30 years in office, how are you going to make her president?
All right. Well, fine. Very well. Is that the length of your and the width and breadth of your grievances? I thought
it's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over and over. We just let people get away with certain shit, but then we want to call the people we don't like out on that same shit. So I just don't like that kind of dishonesty. I'm perfectly willing to call Trump out or Bush out or JFK out or anybody out on shit that they did wrong. I just hate it when people try to say something and then where were you 4 years ago when this other president did the same thing? You know, they weren't saying anything. Or they try to justify it now. Well, we all wanted that law. Well, it doesn't mean it was okay to enact it that way. The law is fine. It's just how it was done.
Yeah.
The only thing I care about in politics is I want to see the Hearing Protection Act passed.
And see, for me, it's not about politics. I want to make that clear. It's not about one side or the other. It's just the hypocrisy of all of it. That's
why I hate all politics. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not. Once again, I am not trying to stir anybody up, but we can agree that there's been a fair amount of ass hattery since the inauguration. Yes.
Yeah, I think.
And there always is. I mean, there always is. It's not.
No, I'm speaking on behalf of our president. I mean, this is. I mean, talk about making a splash from the get-go. I guess. But you know, maybe that's what we're looking at. Maybe that's. I'll be impressed if they can somehow keep up this pace. I guess is.
I mean, all I can say is, like him or not, he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do.
For the most part.
True.
For the most part.
And you're getting what was previewed for the past year.
Well, I think my only thing that I will say is he is getting attacked from everybody at all angles. And so he's always on the defensive, and that's probably going to make him say and do things he probably wouldn't maybe make as many mistakes doing. He would still make mistakes. He's an asshole. But I think it's a little hard. I think a little understanding has to go on there that, you know, anytime you say something, the media is going to take it and twist it. Doesn't matter what you say.
Well, so, he's under such a microscope now. I mean, It would never matter what he does. It's going to be, you know, I mean, which is fine. But then again, he should realize it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's just, but you know, the people that hate him, they're loving life right now because no matter what happens, you know, you're going to have, you have so much ammunition, and that's good. I think because that's what they needed. I mean, I think they need that. You know, I mean,
you know, the only thing I've seen him do that really caused me concern was the opening the oil lines back up right away. I think that was the one thing that, you know, if he didn't learn anything from what happened just a couple.
I think the stuff with the abortion issues is preying on people's minds.
He hasn't done anything other than put an executive order to make something that was voted in every year permanent. He didn't change anything other than making it permanent. So that law got voted in every year. That was the only amendment to it. So that wasn't really a big change. He didn't actually change any of the law about it.
I mean, people are. I mean, I don't know. It just it'll be interesting.
He's got to represent his constituents as well. He can't just represent, you know, the people who are making the most noise. So he's got to throw that side of bone every now and then. And I think by him doing that, where he didn't really change anything, probably made his side feel like he was doing what he said he was going to do. And that may be all he needs to do for them. Who knows?
And Lance, there's no such thing as enough ammo.
Never.
Well, as someone who lives in Indiana, as much as I dislike our current president, I'm glad he's a buffer between us and Mike Pence.
I will 100% agree with Jim on that.
Yeah.
I just try to stay not too judgmental about it until there's been enough time to see what he's really going to do.
Yeah, that bothers me, like, with the media. You know, the man hasn't really done anything yet. And for the last 2 or 3 months, it's been doom and gloom since he won the election. You know, let the man do something before you rip him apart. You know, just.
Yeah, because I think most people agree he is an asshat. I don't think there's any. Yeah, I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that. It's just a matter of are you actually reporting the facts of what's going on, or are you just twisting things or trying to make it look like he's doing something he's really not? So right now I'm trying to weigh what is put out there based on the news source. So like the other day I went to Fox News because he had appointed a new head of the Air Force, and it was a female. Right after this whole Women's March thing, right? He appointed a female as the head of the Air Force. And that was front page, front and center. On CNN, they didn't mention it at all. But they had 2 posts of the SNL skit making fun of his presidential campaign director.
You need priorities, Steve.
Right? I mean, and I'm sitting there going, well, what about women's rights? You would have thought you would have lifted that up or something. I mean, that's a high position in the military.
Yes, it is. So,
that's the kind of stuff that is just ticks me off beyond all belief, because he actually did something good, and they ignore it and they sweep it under the rug, but yet they're all about women's rights. Well, the march wasn't wholly women's rights. It was liberal agenda rights that those types of women agreed with, while they tried to block out pro-life women.
Hey, Lance, could you take the camera off your ugly mug, please?
No.
So those are the things.
Look at me.
Those are the things that bug me, when we're not covering it honestly and we're not giving it a critical view, and we're just making shit up and trying to, paint somebody worse than they are. I can't say he's innocent in any way, shape, or form. But
hi, Steph.
Hey, Steph.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, David. I always I'd like to try to greet people when they show up. So
yeah, that's fine. That's my only issue is whether you like him or not, he's still president. Yes. You have to respect the office, and until he actually does something wrong, judge fairly, as opposed to just throwing shit out there and saying shit that isn't true, or being hypocritical of him doing something that Obama did 112 times.
Yeah.
Or Bush did 112 times, or whatever. So that's the stuff that drives me crazy, because he's going to make mistakes. He's going to do shit that pisses somebody off. He's going to do shit that somebody likes. But Obama did the same thing. So you're going to get that with any president.
I feel sorry for Trump and Obama to an extent, because they are the 2 presidents that are pioneering this whole media age. Yeah, it's presidents before them really haven't had to be exposed to this,
Well, and look what happened when the first day, on the day of the inauguration, media went crazy with Trump took down all the stuff about women's rights and gay rights. No, he didn't, actually. It was the Obama administration that took that all down. And they had already detailed that in a plan and released it to the media a month ahead of time. So that's standard policy. But everybody wanted to paint it like Trump was somehow disrespecting groups of people, and he had nothing to do with it. That's the kind of crap I'm talking about. If he does something wrong, you have every right to voice your dissent. If he doesn't do anything wrong, leave him the fuck alone. Just like you would expect people to do for Obama or Bush or anybody else. If you can't be intellectually honest, you really shouldn't be talking on the topics, because you're not helping the conversation.
I sense a lull here. So I'm going to fill it with a question that's been plaguing me.
Oh.
Okay. If you had to pick one female and one male who you thought was most representative of rock and roll, who would you pick?
Rock and roll as a whole, or rock and roll in a specific genre of rock and roll?
I'm saying it basically as a whole.
Just
I know
your
that
personal
you can
feeling,
subdivide it. Yeah, I've got mine in my head, and I'm curious what other people would pick.
Alive or dead? Does it matter?
Well,
no, it doesn't matter if they're alive or dead.
If they're any good, they're dead.
Yeah.
I'll go first, and well, the man it has to be the greatest frontman of all time, Freddie Mercury. And what? No. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that is not debatable. No, who's better? Who's a better frontman than Freddie Mercury?
The only person who could be ranked in the top two with him would be David Lee Roth.
All right, you've been muted.
Mine was actually Freddie Mercury for the male.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. I mean, I understand that, and he is a better singer. He's not necessarily a better stage performer.
So someone challenged me with archetypical rock and roll. Would you put him up against John Mellencamp?
No, because Mellencamp went on and like he's cross genre. You know, he didn't.
And he's not a great front man. He's a great songwriter.
I live in Mellencamp's hometown, and nobody cares about Mellencamp.
I would want to, like, you know, it's so for the woman. I mean, like Aretha Franklin pops into mind. Just
that's why I was asking, because that's more R&B as opposed to rock and roll. So where we kept.
Where would you go, David? For female,
because to me, rock and roll's always been a bit about the spirit of anarchy. So I would have said Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics.
Really, that's an interesting choice. I went with Chrissie Hynde.
Only because of that whole anarchy thing. She's certainly not the greatest musician by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I went with Chrissie Hynde.
And that would be another great choice. That's actually not a bad choice at all.
What does Steph think?
I don't think. The only thing that comes to mind is the Smiths, because I like them, but I don't know.
The Smiths?
You could make a case for Morrissey. I mean, Morrissey's very talented.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's hard. And I actually wrote an article on this a few years back, and I think I had it with, you know, it was I can't remember the exact order, but it was David Lee Roth, Robert Plant, and Freddie Mercury were the top three frontmen of rock and roll frontmen of all time. And Elvis was in the top 10, and you know, a few of the ones you would expect. But number one, I'd go. It has to be David Lee Roth or Freddie Mercury for sure.
It's interesting because as much as I love Bowie, I couldn't put him in the top two.
Well, I mean, great stage presence, but man, there's some songs of his that are just, you know, iconic, obviously. But he had so many albums that just weren't really all that good. I mean, just because he
wasn't really rock and roll either.
No, and a lot of it had to do with he just wanted to do something weird a lot of times.
Yeah,
I kind of like Bowie is kind of like the Muhammad Ali of music. He spoke about issues and topics and things, even when he wasn't trying to. You know what I'm saying? Just his whole demeanor did that, the way he presented himself. I've always kind of thought in that way.
I do think that "Life on Mars" is one of the greatest songs of all time. That's just
brilliant song.
It's a great song.
5 Years is another underappreciated song.
Yeah, I mean, everybody always, you know, Major Tom and things like that, which is still, you know, a really good song. But yeah, I mean, he's got some good stuff out there.
It's often the deep cuts that really grab you, not always the popular ones. I was actually a real big fan of his Tin Machine stuff.
Tin Machine was actually really good. I will give you. Yeah, wow. I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
I like Anna I like Heart.
Yeah, she is. But see, I consider her the best female singer of all time, not the best female frontwoman, because she's really not that exciting as a frontwoman.
You're talking about Ann Wilson herself?
Yeah, she is.
Stephen Perry.
Steve Perry, still not a great frontman.
Steve Perry, singer. No, terrible, absolutely terrible.
He's got almost pitch perfect voice. He's but his ego is out of control.
A rock star with ego, really?
No, well, he's like Axl Rose level ego. He's not just a rock star ego. He's Axl Rose level ego.
Axl Rose was psychotic.
Hey, Axl Rose rocked it sitting in that chair singing for AC/DC. Let me tell you.
Did he?
How horrible was that? I was just like, why wouldn't you just cancel it? I mean, obviously, okay, so you bring in Axl Rose to sing the AC/DC songs, which, okay, fine. But then he like breaks his leg or whatever, so you're just gonna sit him down in a chair and he's just gonna sit there and sing.
That's because he's on drugs. He doesn't feel it.
What would you like him to do, Lance?
Just wait till somebody. I don't know.
If you're paying $250
around on crutches,
down there and perform, still breaking his leg.
Yeah, for me, voice would be Stephen Perry and frontman would be Steven Tyler.
That's
You know,
another.
the thing is that I also think Paul McCartney's a hell of a singer too. Nobody's got a better scream than Paul
I
McCartney.
mean, the best person I've ever seen in concert for as like with stage presence was Garth Brooks. I mean, and then I'm not even that big into country, but he gives an amazing show, and he commands stage presence.
That's
It's
because
just-
the shows cost about $1 million a piece to put on.
When I saw it, it didn't. It was well back in the day, but it was worth every penny. I mean, it was expensive, but it wasn't as bad as it is now.
No, he's a what we call a true performer. He gets it
Yeah.
on all levels.
He's fantastic. And I also saw Billy Joel in concert and thought he was amazing too.
I say I would love to see Billy Joel.
I saw the dueling pianos with Billy Joel and Elton John down in Tampa Stadium.
Awesome.
It was
Yeah, I saw that.
amazing. It was
Okay.
amazing.
Hey, don't talk over Steph.
I talked over him.
Oh,
You're not the boss of me.
What did you say, Steph? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I just said I saw them too when they were in Boston together. They were awesome. They were really good.
I would have loved to seen his concert, Billy Joel's concert in Russia. That would have been
Oh yeah,
That was
live in
very
Leningrad.
a concert in Russia. That would have been.
Has anyone had the opportunity to see Pink Martini in concert?
I don't even know who that is.
No.
Oh my God, I love them. Check them out on YouTube. They mix a lot of genres together. China Forbes has one of the most amazing voices I've ever heard in my life.
I've not been to many concerts, but I have been to the ones I have been to were really memorable. I saw Queensryche doing Operation Mindcrime live,
Yes.
which was amazing.
Ever.
Yes.
Ever.
I was almost gonna put him up for best lead man, but I figured not enough people. I mean, for whatever reason, that band falls under the radar so many times.
Well, he doesn't as a singer, other than he's kind of fucked everything up the last few years with his attitude and broke up. But he's always been in the top 10 for most people's top 10 singers of all time. But yeah, he's another one of those guys that got a little big for his britches.
Yeah, broke off and tried a solo thing when he should have just kept the band together and did what they were doing.
Well, the real issue was when he's on tour and he spits on the drummer in front of everybody in the crowd. That sealed it.
That'll do.
That'll
do it.
I mean, you know, they were already having issues, but when they did that, and there was because nobody knows what's going on behind stage before they walk out there. Just out of nowhere, he turns around in the middle of a song and spits on the drummer, and the reverberation from that was massive. And you know, they'd already had 2 or 3 albums that didn't do that well.
Yeah, from Frontiers forward, they all kind of bombed. But Mindcrime was one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh, I will agree with you 100. That's my second favorite album of all time.
I think that album is complete and total crap.
Really? Lance, I've got to go.
See it beat.
Now, I mean, I give you that their newer stuff definitely, but I mean, from their first few albums all the way up to Empire, I thought they were great. It was after Empire that they started to spiral downward. But I loved Mindcrime. I thought that the story narrative to an album was like the first time I had really noticed a story element to an album, and it just caught me, and I really loved it.
I saw that tour twice. I saw it twice, 2 nights in a row in Denver, and I think it was 1991, and we were having a blizzard. And I drove through the blizzard to see the second show because it was so good. It was so good. It's one of those things where you can't tell you're listening to a live production versus the CD. You can't. It is that perfect. It is that spot on. So
That's not a good thing when the album's horrible.
I like hearing how Pete's talking about how, you know, a story in an album, and I got to see The Wall.
Yeah, I never saw that. I was not in that clique of people that was really into Pink Floyd when I was in school. So Pink Floyd is one of those bands that I've only heard the songs
What are
that
you
were
trying to
popular
say?
on the
What are you
radio.
trying to say? You got to be high to
well,
enjoy.
Yeah.
you guys,
I've never done drugs in my life, and Pink Floyd is one of my favorite bands. Of all time.
Can I tell you the best Pink Floyd reference I've ever heard in my life? There was a TV show. It had Jamie Getz in it, and they were like terrible parents. And the kids snuck out at night, and then she snuck back into the attic, and she made up this lie that she was up there listening to their old albums. And the dad says, "Really?" She says, "Yeah, I was listening to Pink Floyd." And he goes, "Oh, really?" Like she's gonna get away with it. She goes, "Yeah, they rock." He goes, "Busted. Pink Floyd does not rock." And that's how they nailed it. It was brilliantly done.
Still,
Yeah, I don't hate Pink Floyd. Just never got into them like all
I'm
my friends.
sick to death of Pink Floyd. I could care less if I'd never hear another song of theirs. But they are.
But the old Pink Floyd was fabulous.
Oh, their first couple albums I love because they're quirky as hell. But their live show today is still one of the best live shows you will ever witness. Their laser show is phenomenal.
So there is a Australian Pink Floyd. Have you heard of these guys?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they actually bought like all of the old stage props from Pink Floyd, and they actually tour with the full show with the big inflatables and everything. And they charge a lot of money for their tickets, and I got to see them, and they're pretty friggin' amazing.
I mean, to put on that kind of show is extremely expensive to begin with, so it doesn't surprise me. But Pink Floyd is one of those bands. I don't know if you've noticed this, but as bands get older, the singer tends to lose his capacity to stay in key.
Yeah.
So Pink Floyd is one of those bands that their talent never waned. They were always able to put out the same level of production. So, and when you age, I mean, go listen to Rat now. I dare you. Go listen to Rat, and if you're not screaming and pulling your hair out just from how out of key the singer is,
I remember that whole era, like Rat, Cinderella, Motley Crue.
Speaking of Cinderella, Tom, he had I don't know if it was throat cancer or something.
Yep.
But if you go on YouTube and like see his concerts now, where he sings in a very different voice, he's still got a really unique voice, and the songs will still sound cool the way he sings them now.
Tom gets a lot of love in the music community. I mean, he lives here in Nashville.
The best story about Tom is people like always saying, "Oh, you have a very unique voice," and he's like, "Yeah, no, I know I can't sing, but no one else when they sing my songs sound the way I want them to sound." So I just said, "Screw it, I'm going to sing them anyway."
It sounds like you're talking about Tom Waits.
That's what Def Leppard did. Joe Elliott's not a singer. He actually auditioned as the drummer of the band. He can't sing in key either. But, you don't always have to be the greatest singer. And with today's technology, you don't have to be able to sing in key anyway. Just ask Britney Spears.
You know what? You know what has 9 arms and sucks? Def Leppard.
I do really think they suck, honestly, Lance.
But
you know what it has 4 eyes, 4 hands, and 4 legs.
Go on.
8 pirates.
Wow.
All right. So speaking of singing, I got to tell you, over the last 2 years, I have gone from complete disgust to complete love of Tom Waits.
He is an acquired taste.
He's amazing.
Just amazing.
You definitely have to be in the right mentality for him. And if you can catch him in the very few movies he's been in, he does a really good job in almost everything that he's done. But yeah, he's a quirk. Yeah, I mean, it's just like Tom Waits and like Lou Reed. I remember listening to a lot of them around the same time in my life.
I couldn't get into Lou. I liked Tom all right, but I couldn't get into Lou.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
that Lou Reed and Metallica album could be the worst piece of crap ever put on. Possible, but I mean, when you're that popular and that famous, have as much money, you can do whatever you want. You're not going to suffer for it. But yeah, I was kind of really interested in that when it first came out because that was kind of an interesting combination. But man, was that horrid! That was absolutely horrid. A true failed music experiment. All right, so who do you think is the most underrated musician or band?
No, like I said, I thought Queensryche was.
Oh no, I've got so many friends who are just gobbling on that knob. They aren't underrated by any means.
I'm going to throw one out. Caro Emerald.
I don't know that one.
She's a Danish singer. She does. She sounds like she's doing kind of a swing throwback.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, I listened to her a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think she's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. The only reason I don't. My only thing with her was like I was listening to music and she has these really cool style lyric videos and whatever. but you haven't heard her live, so you don't know if she can pull it off live with that voice. But from
Yeah,
the
you're
CD
right. You're
quality,
absolutely right.
yeah, from the CD quality, it's very nice. It's very unique, and it's definitely a nice throwback to that whole Cotton Club era type stuff. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm also really enamored lately by postmodern jukebox.
Everybody but that Haley chick. I can't handle the Haley chick.
They're playing here next week.
Are you going to go see them?
I had asked my wife if she wanted to go, but it's on a weeknight and kids have stuff that night, so we're not going.
I would definitely go see him. That's cool stuff. That's stuff you don't get to see a whole lot.
So when you say underrated, do you mean as far as musicians or as far as
I kind of
popularity?
Because everybody's got like, well, does that means album sales or talent? And for me, it's more like, I'll just do mine as an example. Like, I think the most underrated band ever is King's X. Mega talented musicians, have amazing 3-part harmonies, very melodic instrumentally, but they don't play, like Dream Theater, so to speak, right? So a lot of people consider them like the grandfather of grunge because they dropped down to D way before all that stuff became popular and did all that. But they're just groove monsters. So when we were coming up through the music scene, they were considered the musicians before Queensryche was around. I mean, before Dream Theater was around. So I would say that, for me, I always base it on the band that should have made it just based on talent, not necessarily, anything else other than that. But for most people, I think they go by album sales, right? Somebody that should have been a lot more popular. I always view it from talent, though. I'm much more critical, I think.
I'll tell you, for lyrics, in terms of the difference between the darkness of the lyrics and the brightness of the songs, I'm a big Lily Allen fan.
Say that again, who?
Lily Allen.
I don't know that one either.
She's got this really interesting knack of having very bright, peppy, almost 70s style music, but very dark lyrics that go along with it. And the dichotomy of that is really amazing.
I have to check some of that out, because for me, it's hard to find amazing songwriters.
I'll put the name in chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if you're talking about bands that I think are fantastic that weren't in the upper echelons of their time period with everything else, like as far as mainstream popularity, like Squeeze, I think is a phenomenal band. Mm-hmm. And people know, like, there are 1 or 2 songs they played on the radio, and the rest of the stuff is awesome also.
They kind of had that 2 or 3 years of being fairly popular, but still pretty much a cult band.
Yeah. And I love them. I've seen them probably the second most out of all the bands I've seen multiple times.
Yeah, I kind of felt that same way about, what was it, Bourgeois Tag, that came out in that same period, but they really only had the 1 album.
Yeah, I saw them with Squeeze. They actually opened for them.
Oh, man.
But let's see, underrated. I think musical talent. I think The Cure is underrated. Not as far as popularity or songs or anything, but I think as far as their musical ability, I think is underrated.
Interesting.
Oh, Scott's here. Ooh.
I never would have.
Oh! Hi, Scott.
Run away, Scott. Run away.
I heard my ears were burning. My ears were burning.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Guys?
You
guys just chilling in here, not talking about anything real?
Hey! Reach into your pocket really quick. Do you have your wallet on you right now? Is it feeling really light?
No.
Oh, yes. I assume you must be running out of money if you're charging $1,000 for VIP badges for the next year's BZG Con.
And there we go.
He's thrown the sucker net wide.
What's included with the $1,000 VIP badge?
What's I mean, have you guys
That's
already
really
dissected it all and all the problems with
I
it? or
missed that.
That's
We
the
talked
answer.
a little bit about it, but I was like, I got down on my knees and said, "Please, Lord, let Scott log in."
Let's give Scott the floor and let him explain so that we can get the facts from the horse's mouth.
Right.
But
What
wait,
was said so far? I guess I don't know what you have said.
Well, no, you just talk and we'll
Yeah.
respond.
Right. So we've got a problem, right, at the con. It sells out in 2 hours, and we kind of wanted to take some pressure off of it. I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but like some people complain that no matter what, they will never have a chance to come. So now we figured we would put the price at such a high level that, and it reduces each day. I don't know if you guys covered that part. It starts at $1,000. It's not $1,000. That starts at $1,000 and drops by $50 a day.
Mhm.
So, and I think it's a 2-week time limit that it'll drop down to 300, and that's like the floor. So within that time, you decide for yourself whether or not BGGCon and the benefits that are posted on the website that you get from buying that premium ticket are worth it for the extra money. Right?
Okay.
That's it. I mean, it's pretty simple, actually.
Paul
There's
Tompkins
actually a
is
couple
all
things.
the
There's
best.
actually a couple things we're trying to finalize. There might be a couple more benefits that we haven't. Aldi, my bastard. We're trying to add some more value to it. We haven't finalized that yet.
I just bought
You
them.
bought them all.
Yeah.
My kid doesn't need braces.
You get braces for $1,000.
I'm ready for the perk where you get
You
a
get a-
sensual massage.
I want to
from
go to your
Aldi itself, and
orthodontist.
I'm in.
What, Pete?
When the sensual massage from Aldi is thrown in there, then that's when I'm jumping in.
Free
There's
back.
nothing wrong
I'll give
with
a free
that.
back.
Steph, should we ask if Michael will just buy all for us?
That'd be great. Yeah, we should.
So
Yeah.
there was a joke. I guess, man, it was. I'm not going to name names, but there are people in the, let's say, that have been to BGGCon and are well-known people in the website, in the board game world, that one year said, I should just buy all the tickets and sell them, and I'll make more money. Like that was his. I already gave away the gender. So that was his idea. So it's kind of like, well, that's kind of an interesting idea. Well, and we're only doing 150, and if they don't sell, it's an experiment. I mean, I get so much flack for trying to do stuff in this world. It's crazy these days.
Okay, so that was
Like if I listen to people,
that was gonna be my question of the day right there.
yeah,
Right there. And I posted this when I was downtown at the music studio. Why in the world would anybody want to be popular today with the way everybody treats each other online? I mean, you literally would have to never be on social media.
yeah. The social media gives you an insight into people's worlds that you didn't have 10 years ago, 5 years, even 5 years ago, right? So, every little thing you do is also tracked, right? Like everything we do, we tried to do a BGGCon too, like the week before, failed. Okay, we're fine with that. This may fail too. May not sell a single ticket. Fine, I'm fine with that.
I'll buy it for 300. Damn it.
Exactly. Everybody's got a price, right? That's kind of my mentality too, right? If you don't want to go through the hassle of trying to figure out when the tickets are going to go on sale and the hotel and a couple other things, right? I mean, I guess there's really no. Is there more than that? I can't remember all the list of stuff you get. Bring it up, so I'm not.
Last time I checked, you ran the company, so I would
Oh,
hope
there's
you would know.
You get to buy. I forgot something. A companion badge. You get a guaranteed room reservation.
That's the one. That's the thing that's going to get people access.
Exactly. It's. I mean, it's a chance for us to raise some money. Like people. I got bills to pay, man. I mean, I would love to hire more people. Like,
can somebody check out Worth
that
the
could help
Web
it.
for me? Can somebody?
Yeah, give me a Worth the Web. It's probably dropped.
I think with the VIP, you should get a puppy.
Ooh, puppies. Free puppies.
No one can say no to a puppy.
You got a point.
Really
All
love
right,
all of them,
hey
but
everybody,
$1,000
hold
Hey,
on.
Paul,
hold on.
it's not $1,000. It starts at $1,000. Do you think? I mean, does anybody really think? Does anybody have
Somebody-
even thought that $150,000 worth of tickets will be sold in the first day?
Well, if
Is anybody
VIP
gonna-
Over $550 tickets sell up to Gen Con without going on sale every year.
There will be some
They're
people
already
that will spend
pre-purchased, right?
$1,000.
Oh my gosh. This is momentous because I pulled up Worth of Web and it said you were only worth 72 million, but it said it was 7 days old. I asked it to update it. You're worth 74 million. This action alone has increased the value of your website by 2 million now.
And Lance, every day his value goes down a little bit until he hits the bottom of the threshold.
Oh,
And then we can buy the company. That's right.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, all your friends are dicks.
Oh! No, he can buy and sell each and every one of us 10 times over. Don't go apologize to him.
But we're not worth buying.
Well, that's why he can buy it so many times. Oh,
That's not true.
that was mean.
So I got a question for you guys. Do you think the trade-off, like in a business sense, the trade-off for social media is worth the scrutiny of the social media?
No.
No.
You don't think so?
Not in
I think you
certain
can make
instances, maybe.
I'm going to use Will Wheaton as an example.
Why?
I'm just saying, like, what he's built in social media is kind of like, you know, and I honestly don't know his acting career lately. I know he was on the game show. No, what is that show?
Big Bang.
Big Bang, right? And that's
Yeah.
that was only a couple times. But if it wasn't for the social media power that he had, like, would anybody notice him? I mean,
But it
it's
started off
kind of like
that. What was that first thing she did right after Dr. Horribles?
Are you talking
Guild?
Felicia Day?
The Guild?
Yeah, the Guild.
I think there's a group of celebrities that are just the social media celebrities, right? And they built
that
brand.
is what kicked off his career right there was the Guild. And
Aren't the Kardashians' whole family built off of like social media hype?
Exactly.
yeah,
There's,
pretty much.
you know, and I don't. It's up to you. It's your decision to see if that's worth it. You're going to be under incredible scrutiny, and I wouldn't say BGG is really under that much scrutiny as what I've seen in other places. Like, you know, I mean, honestly, I was kind of like waking up this morning thinking, oh man, this, because we posted up last night. I think it started off pretty negative, and then I went to bed, and I was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens in, like, you know, 8 hours. It was actually honestly pretty
Did you say it went from negative to bad?
negative to not that bad.
Okay.
Like, I woke up, I was like,
so it's going up.
the first 3 posts were like, oh, you guys are greedy fuckers. You know, all the negative stuff that comes out really, you know, quick, and I think a lot of people just didn't read it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting thing.
And then it turned into some interesting discussion, and there's actually some ideas in there I think we're going to actually try to implement before this thing goes live.
you got to get through all the crap so you can get to the the good
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. There's definitely some people who are super constructive with the issue with it.
But it's interesting with social media because you typically have the people who are vehemently opposed or vehemently in favor of something
Right.
act first. And then you have
It's easier to be a negative shitbag than it is to be like constructive criticism, right? You got to put thought into it.
That's
So
why
you
people
basically
don't want
you
your
default to
stuff.
the lowest common denominator. Pardon?
Well, it's like the tails. It's like the tails of the distributions talk first, and then you start to get more of the common or less extreme ideas coming forward.
Yeah, and I was kind of worried that sometimes that first post and the first 3 dictate the tone of something, right? Like that's kind of how I found this world to be lately. But luckily, it turned around by the time I woke up, and it's like, yeah, we got some great ideas. Now we're going to try to implement them right, before we hit this thing.
Right.
Anyway, it could be a complete failure. I mean, we're prepared for that. Like,
I
it's
remember
not that
like
big a
6
deal.
or 7 years ago when you tried to like put forth the idea of there being like a super user or something like that, paying a little extra money or something and having like a little bit of extra, and that got taken down. That idea like vanished.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
quickly.
you have to go back to kind of like why I built BGG was basically for everybody to use. To find
Oh,
out
apparently it's to make you money. That's what it's for.
it's not created to make me money.
Oh, so you don't. So
It was
what's
not
your real job
created
then?
to make me money. I had a fairly well-paying job at the time when I wrote it.
But what is it now, though?
I'm not telling you.
It's a low-paying job in the service industry.
I'm doing what I love.
You turned this hobby into a living. Stop shitbagging.
I've seen this hobby go from like barely, no one can make money to I see a lot of people, my friends, making money, including you, Lance. You're part of it too.
What?
Yep, you were making money from the board game industry, Lance.
This interview.
Lance, you
this
lost
interview
your
is
soul. You have no soul.
The notion of hiring a person who, and I don't know how I'm trying to put this.
Go ahead,
Are you
shitbag
trying-
Maldi, it's fine.
If you weren't
Are
like
you
a
trying
top
not to use the
tier,
word person?
if you weren't a top tier designer or working in a publisher, like as the publisher running the show, you weren't in the board game industry. Like there was very few in betweens, right?
Right.
People were doing it for fun, and that's the way it started. It really was. BGG didn't make a profit until 6 years in. That's I mean that's a long time to go without making a dime.
Well, especially
it was all paying, and it was paying time too, right? I mean, I used a lot of my free time to do it. Anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to like not preach here, but whatever.
Hey, we're losing Anthony because we haven't done initials yet, and I have them all ready to go. So.
Go for it.
Anthony wins. Game over.
Was there any other questions? I want to be clear on it. We're running this completely transparent. You'll know exactly how many tickets are left each day.
Okay.
So there's no kind of like fake angst created. You know, like oh my god.
Aldi, I want to say something to you. I am so looking forward to my child graduating high school so I can finally go to a BGG con.
Oh, man. When is that?
2 years. I got 2 more years.
Okay, we'll be at the new hotel, so it'll be awesome.
And might be next time I go.
It will be 10,000 by that point.
Okay. In the interest in total transparency, Aldi, how much do you make?
Enough to buy chewing gum.
Aldi, when are you going to release your tax returns?
Enough to buy chewing gum.
Oh, horrible.
I did tell Aldi earlier today, Lance, that this pricing is made just so we can make BGG great again.
Board game wall.
I think that they should build a great paywall.
Okay.
There's
all
already
good.
a wall
All
around
good. Our
BGG.
funny little
Love the
comments.
badges.
Yes, he's a complete train wreck. We all agree. We just let's stop with the echo chamber.
But he's our train wreck.
We still have to settle our bet, Lance. When's the next show we're gonna be at? You gotta buy me a beer or something.
Yeah, that's right.
A $20 cocktail.
That's right.
What's the bet for?
Well, if you're
one beer in San Francisco.
If you're at that place, if you're at that same hotel, any drink there is like $20. So it's just like that wasn't cheap at all.
The cool thing about
or a soda in Philadelphia.
To a lot of other options. I like that a lot.
Well, they're not quite $20 yet in Philly, Keith.
Just close.
Yeah.
Just 1.5 cents.
I was shocked when I went up there.
Get this cool pen.
We're like cats.
So I got this. So people send me these.
That's a total non sequitur.
People send me these tchotchkes all the time with the word "board game geek" written on it. It's really neat. Like, hey, do you guys want to make some pens? I never saw one like this before.
All right, do you guys want to do before after first, or do you want to do
warm it up?
No, you want to do before and after? I only have 18 before and afters. I do apologize.
How do you play before and after?
That seems like a lot.
But
never mind. I remember.
But
Jim, go watch an old episode.
I also
I'm gonna go get a bourbon.
I wish I could have one too.
I also have 18.
That's some toner.
I also have 18 initials as well. So.
Well, let's get this moving so I can go to sleep sometime tonight.
Yeah, I was up till 8 o'clock this morning working, so let's get this running.
All right. So before and after is, it's a combination of two things. If I was to say, like the standard one that we always do is like Marvin Harrison Ford. Marvin Harrison was a wide receiver for the Colts. Harrison Ford, of course, was the actor. So you put those two together. If I said Indiana Colts wide receiver and Han Solo, the answer would be Marvin Harrison Ford. But anyway, so here we go. I have 18 of these. I will give you the clue, and then just yell out your name is your buzzer. I will try
James Buchanan.
All right. Number 1.
Sam Waterston.
One panel cartoonist was not in this horrible fish out of water Pauly Shore movie. Aldi.
Gary Larson in-law.
That's correct. Gary Larson.
Lars son-in-law.
Lars son-in-law. There you go. Yes.
Combination words screwed me up.
Yeah.
Jim's going to get the scotch.
He just
After that first clue, yeah, I would.
Is the dog outside? Okay. Anyway, hold on.
I have no idea.
I will listen to this for a while. This is almost as good as like when one of us is getting yelled at by somebody.
You must have snuck out with one of the people eating.
Anthony.
Don't anyone dare mute him.
I had no idea he was out there.
Door a jar of pickles.
Poor Jim. Did you get grounded?
Jim, are you grounded?
So my dog Loki was we heard him bark.
Dog of mischief.
And yes, and we thought he was inside for the last hour and a half, but apparently when our guests left, he went outside with them and decided to let us know he was still outside. So I'm a bad dad.
Aww.
Yeah, he's a beautiful newfie. He just wanted water.
Well, is he okay?
Okay, he's fine.
Excellent. All right, so we didn't skip you. We waited. We wanted to listen and see if you were going to start like yelling or arguing with your wife.
No. My wife is always right.
It's a good
Smart
choice.
man.
That's how I stay married.
All right, here we go. Number 2. You can't handle this Mel Brooks Robin Hood movie.
Anthony.
Anthony.
A Few Good Men in Tights.
There you go.
Oh, nicely done.
I had it.
Nicely
I
done.
couldn't remember the name of the damn movie. All I could think was what's
Jack Nicholson in
Yeah, I
tights.
kept thinking Jack Nicholson and not A Few Good Men.
I hate this fucking.
Yeah, I do too.
Number 3.
I want you to know I'm 3 bourbons in, so you guys.
We could tell. We could tell.
You're so full of crap.
You are way too talkative this evening. We could tell. Anyway, and that's okay. We like you when you're like this. This is fun. Simon and Garfunkel check in on Clarice and Lecter.
Keith. Sounds of Silence of the Lambs.
Of course. I had the bridge over troubled waters.
All right, number 4. Van Halen's 8th studio album watches Hamlet soliloquize on suicide.
Anthony. OU812 be or not to be.
There you go.
Got that so quick.
Oh,
That's because he gets the answers in advance.
Yeah.
That's right, Jim.
Are you one of those omega vitamins or
all of our
something?
Google Drives.
Number 5.
Anthony.
Go ahead. That would be hilarious.
Oh my god.
All right.
I love this man more every time we play.
Number 5. Director of 2001 won't ever give you up.
Anthony.
Aldi.
Stanley Kubrick Rickroll or Rick.
Anthony.
Come on.
Anthony. Stanley Kubrick Astley.
Stanley.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Rick Astley.
That's bull.
I'm going with Aldi. Aldi for the win.
Mine's funnier.
Yeah.
Because you screwed it up. Just all right. Steph, is your microphone working?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking.
She's paralyzed with fear.
I understand.
No, she's the smartest one as well. She's not even trying. She's like, screw this.
I agree.
Well, apparently yours is working as well, David. So good.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin chews the scenery with the crazy billionaire from Texas.
Anthony. Glengarry Glen Ross Perot.
There you go.
How the hell did you get that so fast?
You know, all
He's got his Google Drive password.
That's a great movie, by the way.
All the answers make sense when Anthony says them.
Yes.
All train cars smell vaguely like shit.
Put the coffee down.
Coffee is for closers.
Yep. What's your name? Fuck you. That's my name. Good stuff. All right.
Second place is a set
I'm
of steak
going
knives.
to go talk to Lemkin.
All right.
Alec Baldwin choose the scenery. Is that part of the movie? Am I missing something with that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he just basically he comes in and just like I mean he's on.
He's got one good part.
Well, that's the only thing he's in. He ramps it up to 11. I mean, he
Okay.
owns that like.
How did Glenn Gary go and Ross pick? Oh, I guess you. Whatever. All right. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Figure
what
out
else?
Anthony's
Seriously,
brain.
When you think of Alec Baldwin, what else do you think of when you think of Alec Baldwin?
Trump
30 Rock.
impersonations.
30
Yes.
Rock.
Wife abuser, child abuser.
Donald Trump impersonations.
Just he always goes so dark, David.
Real positive humor. Yeah.
D is for dark. D is for David.
Yeah.
It's a book. It's a children's book, actually.
Here we go. Number 8. The designer of WizWar visits Sprout's dad on his farm.
Aldi. Tom Jolly Green Rancher.
Anthony.
Jim.
Green Giant.
Give it to Jim. Give it to Jim. Give it to Jim.
Jim.
Jim
take it.
Jolly Green Giant.
My
Tom
brain.
Jolly Green Giant is correct. Yes.
Hey, all these hungry.
Jolly
Give him a
Rancher.
break. You want some Jolly Ranchers?
I need some candy.
All right. Democratic president gets hit by 2,000 pounds of masonry.
Anthony.
He doesn't know.
Wait, I'm laughing. Bill.
No, you're already out. You're already out.
Oh,
You're
we're already out.
Because
Everybody else.
you don't get a chance to think. You don't get a chance to think about it.
Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton of bricks.
Yo, you can't answer, you cheater. No, that's poor.
I said Anthony, and I laughed, and you go. Eh.
Well, I didn't know you were laughing. I apologize.
Hey, how many times in initials do you go, Lance? Wait, give me. I get 5. I get 5.
The initials you get the 5 seconds. This one you don't. This is before and after.
Making up the rules as we go.
No, that's the official rules of before and after. Anyway,
Moving on.
Number 10. The largest Great Lake makes some great popcorn.
Anthony.
Go ahead.
Lake Superior Redenbacher.
Yes, that is correct. You got there.
That was such a stretch. That was no.
Lake Superior Redenbacher.
Oh, boo.
No, whatever.
Go out.
Keep it moving
Lance.
along.
Lance, did you not tell us earlier that you've never done drugs?
Well,
No, tonight. He's never done drugs tonight.
okay. All right. Horrible Kids board game. Sorry. Let me start over. Number 11. Horrible Kids board game played Matlock.
Keith.
Anthony. Oh,
Keith.
yeah, Keith.
Keith.
Crap. Candylandy Griffith.
Landy Griffith. That's correct.
Andy Landy.
Oh.
That's awesome.
My wife came up with that one for me, so all credit to her for that one.
It's so bad.
I wasn't sure I could actually legally break the name up like that. That's why I had to hesitate. Look,
Andy Landy. Oh my
Andy
God.
Landy Griffith. Yes.
Andy Landy.
All right. Number 12. The youngest member of NSYNC hangs out with Betty White while she feeds cows to a giant alligator.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's the answer.
Oh, Pete.
Pete.
Justin Timberlake Placid.
Justin Timberlake Placid. That is correct.
Oh, nice.
I'm done. Wake me up when initial starts.
All right. Here we go. Number 13. ... B.
Pete?
Pete.
AOL SOS.
And ... B.
What your vibrator sounds like when it runs out of batteries?
It's S-O and a
Inspector
flat
Morse.
line. I don't get it. ...
Anthony.
Anthony.
Morse code red.
And almost there. Almost there.
Yes,
Oh.
that was a good guess.
Keith.
Keith.
Morse code blue.
Morse code blue. That is correct. Yes.
He needed the money.
We really need to give that's really Anthony's.
Well, it isn't code red. It isn't a Mountain Dew.
Nobody would have got that unless he said something.
Well, then that's so.
Just
I was
saying.
close.
I'm just
SOS
recognizing his instrumentalism in that particular clue.
Oh, you can give him your point.
Keep
in
it
your
moving.
game. Okay.
You can give him you're tired, you're poor, you're weary.
Number 14.
Excuse me. Wait, hold on. Just to clarify, I will give it to him, but code red and code blue both mean the same thing in a hospital.
Yeah, but mine says code blue. So.
Okay. Well, they both mean the same. Well,
And I am the arbiter of the reality.
So wait a minute. So Anthony, if they both mean the same thing, why do they have two different colors?
Because mostly in the hospital you call it a code red. Code blue is when it's usually outside. So you have a code blue in an ambulance, you have a code red in the hospital.
Why?
I don't know why.
Okay.
Code black is also something people refer to it as, but very few.
Number 14. A
Anthony.
movie. A movie about secret rituals to appease ancient gods enjoys the music festival on Max Yasgur's farm.
Anthony.
Go ahead, Anthony. A movie about secret rituals to appease ancient gods enjoys the music festival on Max Yasgur's farm. This is my daughter's favorite movie. A movie about secret rituals to appease ancient gods, starring Chris Hemsworth, before he really got famous, enjoys the music festival on Max Yasgur's farm.
I know the last word and I don't know the beginning.
Aldi.
Alone in the Woodstock?
Cabin on the
Cabin in the Woodstock. Yes,
Cabin in the Woodstock.
Cabin in the Woodstock is correct. Yes.
Should have known that.
I knew the Woodstock part. I didn't know the beginning.
Well, yeah, that's the easy part.
Thanks. Thanks for belittling me.
Number 15. Hall of Fame citrus name pitcher is the narrator of a popular book series, movie, and TV show. Hall of Fame citrus named pitcher is the narrator of a popular book series, movie, and TV show. Hall of Fame citrus named pitcher is the narrator. David.
Daryl Strawberry Shortcake.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I agree. That is awesome. Hall of Fame citrus named pitcher is.
I got that part. I don't know the other part.
Bob Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events.
Oh, okay. I got the Bob Lemony part.
For whatever reason, Cy Young and Frank Viola were the only two names that could come in my head for pitchers.
And Viola is not in the Hall of Fame. So
neither's a fruit.
Well,
isn't it an instrument like a big violin?
Yeah, Viola is. Yeah, that's why his nickname was Sweet Music. Anyway, so number 16. This is also one my wife came up with for me. The end of the world won't be stopped by Miami Vice's Crockett. Aldi.
Armageddon Johnson.
Armageddon Johnson, yes.
Oh, boo.
Nice one.
I'll tell my wife you said that. Number 17. Chasing replicants may give you this blast of endorphins and euphoria.
Aldi.
Blade
Runner's High.
Blade Runner's High, yes. And number 18, the final one we have for this evening. A Hawaii private detective tests artificial life's 3 laws.
Jim. Magnum PAI.
And Aldi.
Ah,
Magnum PI robot.
Correct. Magnum PI robot.
nice.
Oh, well, so that wasn't so bad. Barry, is your microphone working?
Barry has better things to do.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So before I dive in, I want to get before anybody leaves or anything like that. I wanted to ask a few people about this Kickstarter that's going on right now. Medioevo Universalis. Have you guys seen this?
It's over 1,000 pieces and 550 miniatures.
Yeah.
Well, and people are losing their mind. I mean, they jumped out hardcore to a ton of money, but it has slowly but surely been losing backers and losing money because they won't unless they've done it recently. They won't release any of the
rules.
Well, any of the rules, yeah. And they promised the rules they promised the rules back on the 20th of January. They said you'll have them in a couple of days, and people are still waiting to see the rules. I mean, the game looks crazy big and crazy awesome, but basically people are just like, where are the rules? They want to see how the game is played, and there's no video for it or anything like that.
I'm just waiting for my inbox to see that Aldi backs it.
Yeah.
Already backed it.
Yes.
You already backed it?
So I have a new.
I mean,
theory.
I'm getting it for the library.
So I have a new
What
theory.
is it?
It's just type in just Google search Kickstarter and then MEDIOEVO.
So I have a new theory. If
Okay.
there are enough miniatures, you don't need a game. People will back it.
No, but they're not miniatures. They're really small.
Huh?
They're like
Microchers?
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 they're like the miniatures that come in Memoir 44.
Or Axis and Allies, that kind of thing.
24,
Tiny-
37,
24
26, and 28 millimeters.
Tiny chers.
28 millimeters. The boats are bigger.
They can't be 28 millimeters. That board would
We're
have
going
to
to
be
need a bigger boat.
That's right.
That board
Jaws reference for Keith, 10 points.
That was for our friend Pete.
It was for Pete, I know.
Hey, Jess.
You know what? It was for Pete's sake.
It was.
Come on.
Speaking of for Pete's sake, Pete's got a game on Kickstarter now.
Yes, he does, and I played it, and it's quite good.
What
Thank you.
game is that, Pete?
Delph.
Delph,
Huh?
like Dolph,
Delph.
Dorf on Dolph, or what?
Dolph Lundgren?
Dolph Lundgren. No,
Yes.
Delve, DELVE.
Ah.
Yes, and it's doing well.
Yes. It's doing
Is it funded yet?
We're funded
Almost double.
on day 3, and we're now working on stretch goals. Yeah, we're well overfunded.
Are you excited? So how come? I mean, is that just it was one of those weird things where the game just kind of didn't fit Cool Mini or not or something like that? So you went outside of the whatever.
Yeah, well, I generally, if I have designs, I show them, and if they're interested, but they already have a great dungeon crawl tile laying game in Nasamura, so it's too much similar. It's why compete against yourself? It didn't fit their line because they already had a very popular and very successful dungeon tile laying game. So they sometimes they take interest in some of the designs I have, sometimes they don't, but Travis and those guys really liked it, and they jumped on it as soon as we showed it to them, and the rest is history. So I generally will give Cool Mini always first dibs on anything I do, but like I said, they've got so many projects and we're so far planned ahead that it's really tough to get a game in with them.
So I want you to know that on Google it says Delve by Travis.
Yes, because that's the owner of Indie Board and Card.
I say smack him up. No, it's not by him.
So yeah, well, congratulations. I hope it's $1 million or something.
Well, I'm very happy with where it's at right now. Even if it didn't go up another $1, it's done. It funded, which was the important thing, and anything we go from here is just going to be added content for everyone who backs it. So
You know, I don't fund Kickstarters, but I might fund it just because it's you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh,
What game is this?
Delve, Delve. It's it's a tile laying dungeon. Take that kind of game.
I like it.
well, see, I assumed it was with you designing it. It would be a very dry, no themed, cube pushing Euro.
Oh yeah. Lonnius will attach his name to one of those games. Yeah, no. No, the story behind this game is actually quite cool. It was originally Richard had designed a earlier version of this game, 10 years ago, and it just couldn't get it to work. So when we started partnering up to work on game design, he handed this to me and said, "See what you can do with this." He said, "It's been on my shelf for 7 or 8 years now," and I took it and like 4 months later was able to get it working. And then we started, once he saw how it was working, it kind of inspired us, and then we just kind of went from there and started creating new facets to it. And the game was good when we gave it to Indie Board and Card, but Travis and Nick and those guys, they actually took it up to the next level. They came up with some great development ideas that we ended up implementing. We went back and reworked some things, and honestly, it's twice as good now as it was when we handed it to them. So I really take my hat off to those guys. They did an amazing job taking it and really running with it. So
I like this. I think I might have to back this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
Hey Pete, I want to make a game with you about air sharks filled with hydrogen. And
okay, we can
do that.
Overrun
the city, and there's chain reaction explosions.
Okay, I can get behind that theme.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right.
Initials.
Back.
All right. Well, yeah. So we wanna do this then?
Yes.
So I was going to suggest something about initials, since Anthony is like the master of initials.
We just don't let him play anymore.
No. He plays, and that's fine. He plays, and he can go ahead and get tons of points and win the game, because we all believe that he will. However, what my suggestion with the way, like the contest where people can tweet the thing, I'm gonna have them, since it isn't really a contest for them anymore, because it's just like Anthony and a number. I say the contest should be for the second place person.
Just go pick me.
It's really easy. Don't pick me.
Or you could maybe not allow Anthony to start answering until the third clue is out. Give everyone else a chance. That way he can sit there and bite his tongue while we're all struggling to figure out what the hell you're talking about.
Anthony, would you agree to these new stipulations?
Say no, Anthony. Say no.
Say no.
Stepping on your First Amendment rights.
Anthony's not responding.
He's
Quick
busy
play
watching
before he
the
gets back on.
You don't
I
get
was just
better by
gonna say-
making up fake rules to help yourself.
What?
You don't get better by playing like changing the rules.
So Lance, here's what you do. You just play, and when he answers, you ignore him.
You can start now because he's technically not there, and then maybe by the time he comes back, we'll be 3 questions in.
Don't bet on me because I'm not paying attention very well tonight.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
You heard me. Don't bet on me. I'm not going to do
Wait a
that.
minute. Hold on. Just a second here. I may have gotten a secret message. He said my screen has froze.
Computer crashed. Yeah.
Now is the time to start the game.
Let's start it up.
Send it back and say he means frozen.
Did you guys back Mars?
No.
No.
Mars.
I haven't done the pre-order yet.
Yes, I pre-ordered.
I keep thinking about doing it, and then I can't bring myself to do it. And I keep thinking about doing it, and I don't do it. I'll be annoyed with myself if I don't do it.
Yeah,
But
why
then
not? I mean,
I still have games
I
from
don't
Christmas
know.
that are still in shrink wrap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
I pre-ordered it like an hour after it went up.
What game are we talking about?
Terraforming Mars.
or
Oh,
no, I was talking about the
Oh, not Terraforming Mars.
Mars.
First Martians.
First Martians.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
dumbass.
technically
Yeah.
not Mars. Mars
Too many
shipments.
goddamn Mars games.
yeah.
Another Mars
I
game.
Pre-ordered that.
Has
Wow.
anybody played that other Mars game? That not Terraforming Mars and not First Martians, but the other one that was like the really complicated with the
Yeah, I have not.
3D
played it.
printed pieces?
Well, I'm still waiting for my copy. I backed it,
okay.
and I haven't gotten mine yet. So,
Is it just you or everybody who backed it
everybody.
hasn't gotten it yet?
I don't know.
We had one at BGGCon, so I'm sure they want to get it out as quick as they can.
I need to buy the Princess Bride game that came out this week.
Why?
Well, it's not really Princess Bride, but it is.
Which one's that?
But it is.
The Raise Your Goblets, because I had a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, that's a good game. That's a
Raise Your Goblets is a lot of fun.
What about that Doctor Who game that's coming out? What is that?
Well, that would entail me actually liking anything to do with Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm on the same.
Are you
boat
speaking?
Lance.
That was not the real Lance. That was an evil clone that was stuck in his place. Everyone.
I have given it 3 chances. And I watched I watched an episode, and I said, "This is horrible." My wife and I were like, "Okay, we both heard everybody talking about how it was great and everything like that. Let's watch an episode." So we watched an episode. We're like, "That really wasn't that good. Let's watch the. Let's watch. Shut up for a second. Watch and then we watched the second one, and we're like, okay. And then we gave up. So I was like, okay, so maybe. And so then I had a friend who's like this huge fan of it, right? And I told him, I said, okay, so I watched like these 2 episodes at the beginning of the season. He's like, oh, those are horrible. Don't watch those. That's not. And I was like, all right, so what should I watch? And then he wrote down the names of like 6 episodes. He said, you got to watch these. I was like, well, I won't know anything about them. He's like, no, you'll be able to follow it. It's okay. So I watched, and he's like, which one should I start with? And he said, start with this one. I watched it. I was like, I guess it was fine, but I don't know why everybody was so orgasmic about it. And then he was like, okay, and then he said, okay, watch these 2 together because they hook up really well. And so then I went home, and then like one other late night, I watched them, and I watched those 2. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not buying into this. And
Did you watch the Tom Baker one when we were kids?
You could ask me anything, and I wouldn't be able to tell you a definitive answer about it.
So, Lance, did you watch Blink?
What? I'm sorry. Somebody apparently is deciding to rip up newspapers.
You're talking about Doctor Who. I got bored.
Did you watch the episode Blink?
Maybe. I don't know.
One episode of like 400 is not good enough to watch that show.
Nope, not at all.
In my opinion. It's a good episode. I like it. It's got Carey Mulligan in it too. It's awesome.
I can't get into a show where the scary thing is a Hoover vacuum cleaner with a paint roller and a toilet plunger.
There seems to be an overabundant concern for Keith's well-being. So what's the over/under that he falls out of his chair this show?
He's not leaning back.
I've only done it once, so the odds aren't great. So
everyone's talking about
I've done it once.
Everyone says it's their highlight of the show over the last month. So
right now it's trending.
It was over.
Jim, if all the episodes were as good as Blink, there'd be no question. I would watch it.
Blink is.
But they're just so it's one of the best sci-fi shows ever made, right? Like that episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever.
Don't hold back, Lance. Say what you really feel.
Well, no, I gave it like 5 hours of my life, and it wasn't interesting enough for me to give it any more. So
never seen an episode. Probably never will.
Watch Blink. Just watch Blink.
Yeah, Blink is a good episode.
Well,
it stands alone. It doesn't even have Doctor Who in it. He's not even in it.
It's a Doctor Who light episode.
Yeah, it's a side episode.
So let me get this straight. The best episode is where the character that the show is named after doesn't appear.
But
he's in it. He's in it.
No. He's not an endorsement for
he's
a game.
He's not really in it.
He's a cameo.
The episode is a cameo. The episode is more of a horror show on that particular one versus being kind of campy sci-fi.
Yes.
Well, when they have an episode that is totally unlike anything else that they do, it's good. Once again, not a good selling point for the show.
The rest of it sucks, but this one's really good.
Yeah.
The musical episode is good too.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, I'm out of this conversation.
I only really want to know about the game for my daughter.
This is I have an unabashed love for a TV show that like most people don't agree with as far as that is concerned.
Sesame Street.
Well, Sesame Street is awesome, but the show Psych that was on about the guy who pretended to be a psychic detective, and I mean that was just a really, really, really good show. It was like one of those things where like I decided like it was on Netflix and they had like the first 4 seasons, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a chance. And like that show was done really, really well. And it had like little inside jokes. It referenced like other episodes like from like seasons before.
It's just like Doctor Who.
Maybe, but this one actually had like funny things happening. And it was actually, I don't know.
You don't think a robot called K9 is funny? Not funny.
No, that's not funny.
All
That's tired.
Dog robot. K9.
Yeah.
All this from the guy whose favorite movie is Showgirls. Moving on.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, back on Earth.
Yeah. Anthony is supposedly rebooting.
Good.
Wow, forever.
Game of before I get on.
Steph, what's your favorite TV show?
At the moment, Game of Thrones. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good answer.
please.
We'll see.
Of all time, it's Alias. But
Alias was good. Yeah.
Couldn't get into that one.
Well, the weird thing about
Garner,
Alias was at the exact same
Bradley
time
Cooper.
that there was that show, Alias, there was a fantastic comic book called Alias as well that was written by Brian Michael Bendis, and it was actually about, and I can't think of her name now, it was actually about why can't I even think about they got a Netflix show about her, Marvel show.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, and Alias was about Jessica Jones because she was like a rehabbing alcohol. Well, basically the show, she was rehabbing alcoholic former superhero that was a private investigator. So that's what it was. And actually,
Alias was about.
Yeah, the comic book Alias was about.
Oh, the Alias comic.
And it was fantastic, and it was actually it was really good. But Alias the show was really good too.
I've been meaning to go back and finish Alias.
well,
I got about 2
really don't
seasons
have
in.
to.
Is it not worth it?
Well, the first 3 seasons are the best. Yeah.
I liked it when it was out, and I don't know why I stopped watching it. Just to.
Yeah, I had a buddy tell me that like Chuck was like the greatest show ever, and I gave that like 4 episodes before I turned that off forever.
Yeah.
All right, so I watched the first. I watched the first episode of Sense8. Should I continue?
No, I was not impressed with that at all. However, that OA,
Any good?
not bad.
That was
Not good. Also not good.
Also not good.
Not good and not bad.
But here
It's right in the middle.
Supposedly I heard that like about 2/3 of the way through the season they found out that they were going to be given like another season.
So they didn't want to finish. The
And that's when they ruined it.
And so that's
Yeah,
when
they're
they
like,
like,
okay,
they're
so
like
then
they put the brakes on their
Wait,
plot.
don't spoil it.
Yeah,
I know you're gonna
okay,
say
yeah.
something.
I
There's
would
that like
rather-
huge reveal in the second last. Is it the last episode or the second last?
Second to last, the penultimate.
The huge changer. And
I would rather watch Trump have sex with 7 cows and a goat before I watch that crap again.
Oh.
Does it have to be a goat?
Yes.
I
Go
like
through-
the first
go
couple
through-
minutes of it.
You're so salty, David.
I watched it. I watched it, and I was, I watched it all the way through over 2 days, and I really liked it until the very end, and then it just kind of ruined the whole thing for me. That end to me was just so disappointing. It just ruined the whole thing. I actually liked up until that point, and then it just died horribly. It was like watching, it's like watching the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. It's just
Oh,
don't.
all right. So I'm going to tell you my new favorite show, and everyone's going to laugh at me except for Steph.
Yeah.
New Girl. I love New Girl.
My wife loves that show, and like she catches me like laughing as she watches it, and then she makes fun of me because I'm not a big sitcom guy, but it has a couple of things going for it. It doesn't have a laugh track because it isn't telling us it's funny. And I think that and this is a callback to my original comment about Psych. If you ever watch Psych, unfortunately it's not on Netflix anymore. Supposedly it's coming back, but if you ever get a chance to watch, you should never watch the person that's talking. It's like, usually when you watch TV shows, if somebody's like, it's there. First of all, most TV shows when somebody's talking, they zoom in on that person and they just have a close up of that person talking. And then when the next person talks, and they zoom in on that person. But in any scene in Psych, when there was like more than 2 or 3 people standing around doing something, and lots of times when there was just like only 2 people, they would do a wide shot. So it would have everybody in the scene and they talk. And so you had this marvelous thing where you could actually watch the other people have to act and react to what the other people were saying and doing. And it was some of the funniest stuff. If you actually watched their reactions to what people said, it was actually really, really funny how they stayed in character. But just if you get a chance to watch it, do that.
I love Lassie in that show. I just love him. He's so good.
Oh, Lassiter is so good in that show. And not being too spoilery, but at the very end when he gets the DVD, his reactions to the DVD, I think were just so spot on for Lassiter. It was perfect. But anyway,
isn't that the show that has a pineapple in every episode or something?
A pineapple, and that's the fun. When I found out there was a pineapple in every episode, like my entire family, we'd watch it and we'd look for the pineapple, and everybody would yell pineapple. There it is, But anyway. But no, New Girl does the exact same thing. They have wide shots, and the other people react to what they're doing, and that is I love seeing that kind of encompassing acting that they do. But I will say this, and then you can discuss. But before I forget, one of the best shows ever on television, Boston Legal. But anyway, so if you haven't watched it, track it down. And
Boston Legal was a good show.
Watch
It's a good show.
Just after that first season, and they just let Shatner and Spader just play off of each other. It just made it so good.
So I'm going to go back to New Girl for a minute because my wife and I watched it together, and we went through all the seasons. We started watching it again from the beginning, and it is really intriguing how many things are laid down from the beginning that eventually come out at the end. It's a very well crafted storyline.
Have you ever seen the movie 500 Days of Summer?
No.
It stars the exact same actress, and it's actually, if you've ever been in a relationship that like you were desperately in love with the person that just didn't feel the same way as you did, it'll tear open those emotional wounds for you, but it does it in a really, really really good way, in a weird way. I mean, it's just like, I remember when I watched it, it was like, I was like sitting there going, oh my gosh, just like it really, it hits the feeling home. Basically, it's just about this guy who's like totally in love with this girl named Summer. And so basically he has this relationship that's literally like 500 days of him and this girl. And like, and as it progresses to the point where, it doesn't work and it's horrible and how it affects his life and things like that. But yeah, 500 Days of Summer, a very good movie. I'd suggest it to anybody to watch it.
How do you get any work done? You've seen everything on the planet.
Well, the nice thing is that like when I'm working from home, I just have the TV on in the background, and I've seen everything, so I can just hear it in the background. I know exactly what's happening on the screen. I watched every single episode of the cartoon Home Movies, which was one of the absolute best cartoon shows of all time. And I watched them all so many times that like I would, because I like I like listening to something as I fall asleep. I would play them on my computer back when people didn't have Netflix and stuff. I just had them all ripped as video files on my computer. I would set them up, and I could close my eyes and I could actually see what was, because I knew exactly what was happening during every single scene, so I could envision it in my head as I heard the people talking. And so I could actually, like, in a way, watch the TV show with my eyes closed. Yeah.
I have a quick question for David before we start. Do you know what a gigapixel is and how to do it?
I don't. I can find
the
out.
Gigapixel photos, like they're the super high-res photos that they take at like football stadiums or inaugurations.
Oh yeah. I don't know how to do that though. But one of my camera guys does know how to do that. How soon?
I want to do a gigapixel of the BGD library.
Aldi, are you going to the gun range soon? Is that why you're wearing the orange tint glasses right now?
They're the blue. Remember the blue blockers? Remember those commercials? Blue blockers.
I'll try to find out about
No, these are gunners. GUNNAR. They're glare reducing glasses.
They're for hardcore gamers. Anthony, are you with us?
Yes.
All right. I just want to make sure.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do something slightly different. The people that are gonna tweet to Anthony, they're going to tweet the second place winner and the number of points instead of just everybody saying Anthony and blah blah blah. They did suggest they suggested that you were not allowed to answer until like the third clue.
Actually, I suggested that.
Yeah, Pete suggested that. Would you be okay with that if we gave that a trial run tonight?
I don't know that he could stop himself, honestly.
I don't think he could either.
I don't think he could either. Anthony, what do you have to say to that?
There's way too much ego.
Whatever.
He's got a hard enough time waiting for the first clue.
Yeah.
That's
because
true.
I have all the answers ahead of time.
Well, did you get my email? So
I did.
Okay. I just wanted to make
Always
sure.
a little quick to the draw.
They're in that order this week, though, right, Lance?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
in
good.
the exact same order. So just, I'm sorry for the confusion the other day. I was,
What are the initials again? I gotta make sure I have the right list.
BT.
XZ.
Girls.
all right. So we're gonna play initials. How are we gonna play this? Are we not gonna give
Just
Anthony
play.
a handicap?
Let's just play.
Okay, but
Straight up.
we're gonna play straight up. But the hey, that's a nice Captain America you got there, buddy. But if you're gonna send in your vote for a win, you're voting for who's gonna place second and their points.
And you can pick me to finish second.
I think if they really want to win, they should vote for last place and vote for me.
Be a tie between me and you, Jim.
All right, so I'm gonna give everybody a good like 30 seconds after I give the initials. So I'm just gonna kind of talk here and trail off a little bit so other people can tweet their guess. I don't want to see anybody using their keyboard or anything. I don't want anybody Googling anything after I give my initials or anything like that. I want everybody paying attention. Anthony, you of course, because your camera is broken, feel free to.
I'm still waiting for Aldi and Jim to send me money. They told me they were going to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot.
I'll give you $1.
I'll get it. I'll get on that.
All right. So in the meantime, I actually was able to get a 19th. So we're going to have 19 of them. 19.
It'll take like
these.
2 hours.
Oh my God!
No. Remember,
Kill me faster.
he guesses. Anthony gets something like after the first clue.
Hey, we did 22 last week when I did it in less than an hour.
Yeah. So anyway, people tweet to what's your Twitter handle there? Mr. Secret Cabal.
Loser at the Secret Cabal.
At the Secret Cabal.
It's not.
Hashtag bite me Jamie. I'll make sure I respond to every one of those tweets.
Yeah, that you don't get.
All right.
What are the initials?
I have not given out the initials yet. So there are 19 clues. These are going to be people. I should say they could be people, places, things, sayings. I don't know.
Giant spiders.
What's that, Keith? Oh yeah, I want to get that. Almost got me too. That looks pretty cool. That's all right.
People born in the 1700s who Jim thinks were born in 1948.
James Buchanan.
All right, so here are the initials, and I'll give you guys about 15 seconds to think about and roll them around your head. The initials. Oh, fine, 30 seconds, whatever. The initials.
No time.
The initials for January 25th, 2017 are H.
Ha ha!
H.
Herbert Hoover.
Don't say anything, Jim. You can't. Don't say anything. Because remember, you're giving away possible answers. So just remember.
Yeah, James Buchanan doesn't work tonight.
All right. H. All right. So here we go. This is item number 1. Was drafted into the U.S. Army Air Forces in 1943.
David. Hugh Hefner.
You are out for item number 1. I appreciate your go-get-emness, though. That was good. Jim.
Herbert Hoover.
You're out for item number 1. Second clue. Was a proponent of Esperanto and could speak it fluently. He's enjoying his crackers. Clue number 3. Wrote comics until, in his own words, the market for them had shrunk in the 1950s. Clue number 4. Wrote his first novel, Death World, in 1960.
I read Death World too. It's a good book.
Final clue. He is more famous, however, for his satirical pulp science fiction characters Bill the Galactic Hero
Anthony.
and Anthony.
Oh, I'm going to screw his first name
5.
up. Harry Harrison?
Harry Harrison is correct.
I couldn't remember if it was Harry or Henry.
Bill the Galactic Hero and James DeGriz, the stainless steel rat.
Steel
The
Rat.
first,
No idea.
the first stainless steel rat book is so good.
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely.
It is just if you've never read any of the stainless steel rat stuff, I strongly suggest it. And if you are a fan of Robert Heinlein and like his sci-fi trooper stuff, Bill the Galactic Hero is just such a good take, a satirical take on that whole genre of stuff. So
I was expecting you to actually say Robert Heinlein, been like he had some other name other than Robert, like you usually do.
no, that is not the case.
He went by Hinky.
All right, Anthony with 1.
Was somebody's got?
Item number 2. Winston Churchill found him admirable, but never met him. Went from being a lowly midshipman to an admiral of the Royal Navy at his retirement. Is a Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath, GCB.
Pete,
is it Horatio Hornblower?
Horatio Hornblower, yes.
Nice.
Died January 12th, 1858 at the age of 80. Is a fictional character.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's why I wasn't thinking him, because you said what's his name in the beginning.
Yes, because Winston Churchill did say he admired him a great deal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right,
that's how I played tricks. I'm tricksy.
He's Trixie.
Whatever, Gollum.
Okay.
That was a great show, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
What, Lord of the Rings?
No, Horatio Hornblower.
Item number 3. Oh, wait, we are all tied up at 1.
I always knew you liked being tied up.
At the age of 2, was thought to have died of the croup, but was saved by his uncle. Clue number 2. Did not attend high school, but was privately taught bookkeeping, typing, and mathematics. Attended Stanford University, even though he failed most of the entrance. Let me say that again. Attended Stanford University, even though he failed most of the entrance exams.
Anthony. Herbert Hoover.
Herbert Hoover is correct. Get this. After making
Jimmy missed out.
After making a
I was stuck on James Buchanan.
After making a fortune in mining, he remarked, "If a man has not made $1 million by the age of 40, he really hasn't amounted to much."
I want you to know that I sat back and gave you that, Anthony.
Here we go. Item number 4.
Hang on, Lance. It's not going to be Herbert Hoover again, is it?
No, we're not going to.
Damn it.
Choose a man like Herbert Hoover again. That was clue number 5. Archie and Edith think we need another man like him. That was clue number 5.
We'll keep it all in the family.
That's when I would have got it.
Yeah. All right. Item number 4. Born in Budapest and is of Jewish ancestry. Began their career at 9 years old.
Pete?
Star of... Go ahead.
Harry Houdini?
Harry Houdini is correct. Wow,
You
Pete.
got me by a millisecond.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say began their career?
Began
Yeah,
their
because he
career
wasn't
at
giving
9
away the
years old.
gender.
Yeah, didn't want to give away the gender. Star of several movies such as Terror Island, The Man from Beyond,
See, I
Secret
was
Service,
I
and
was thinking of
Grenade.
Siamese twins when you said their career.
Yeah, I thought he was going somewhere completely different with that, but I get it now.
Was incorrectly attributed to be the first person to fly a plane in Australia. And mysteries about his death still abound to this day.
He's not dead.
No, that's not his real name.
No, it isn't, but he actually did change his name to that. It was Eric something was his name. All right. Item number 5. Born in Harris County, Texas. An avid fan of the Hells Angels. An accomplished golfer holding
Keith.
a mind. Keith, go ahead.
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes, well done.
Nice.
Hells Angels is, of course, his famous movie about World War One. So that's why he was an avid fan of that.
I had no idea he was an accomplished golfer, though.
Yep, held a -3 handicap for most of his life.
I was waiting for the germaphobe thing.
Yeah, I was going to say,
At the,
'cause, I
at
mean,
the
that's-
time of his death, at the time of his death, was so emaciated and ravaged by drugs, the FBI needed to use fingerprints to identify his body.
Wow.
Grim. Yes. This is Keith. Well done. So it's Pete with 2, Anthony with 2, Keith with 1. And everybody else's microphone isn't working. Steph, how you feeling?
Jim's is working.
Feeling it's late.
All right, here we go. Item number 6 is of Scottish, German, Indian, and American heritage. Is an accomplished hunter and racer. Highly skilled in the art of melee combat.
Keith.
Keith.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, that was a good one, though.
That's a good answer, though.
That was a good answer.
That was very good. Clue number 4 was portrayed in film by Christopher Walken.
Pete.
Pete.
Headless Horseman?
Headless Horseman is correct. Yes, they're
Oh,
yes,
boo.
the legends of the Headless Horseman.
Sleepy Hollow.
But also there are versions of the Headless Horseman in Indian mythology, American mythology, German mythology, and Scottish mythology. So that is where the heritage comes from. See, I'm getting tricky, you know. I'm confused. Whoa, everybody. Okay, and we're done. Pete wins with 3. All right. All right. So this is a callback to last week for those of you who are here. Just this first clue. So we're on item number 7. Yeah, item number 7. Yes, item number 7. Portrayed a marijuana smoking classmate on The Facts of Life. Jim.
James Buchanan.
Incorrect.
Keith.
Damn.
Keith.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt is correct. Wow.
Damn it. I was going to take a stab. It's the only girl I could think of that had the HH.
Studied ballet and briefly attended UCLA without graduating.
I have another one, but it's the only girl the right age for Facts of Life.
Well, yeah, that too.
Has won both an Emmy and a
Married for a while.
year and a half. Most recently received great acclaim for her role as a sex surrogate in the movie Sessions. And you can see her naked, if that matters to you at all.
I like her As Good as It Gets.
As Good as It Gets is like really just a great movie. It's just the part of the As Good as It Gets that I really, really liked was when
The suitcase scene.
No, when he actually says What if this is as good as it gets? And you can barely hear a person in the waiting room go, "Oh," like they just realize that like how bad it could possibly be or whatever.
What's messed up? You said Hank Azaria, and I don't think of him as the Simpsons voice actor first because the first time I became aware of him was in the show Herman's Head.
Oh yes, Herman's Head.
Like the birdcage, but yeah, Herman's
And
Head.
then the girl in that movie in that show actually
It's Lisa Simpson.
Yeah, Lisa Simpson. Yeah,
Yep.
cool. All right, here we go. Is this number 8? Number 8. Credits Billy Graham for his inspiration and career. Keith.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan is correct. Wow.
Oh
Keith.
my God. Not the wrestler Billy Graham. The wrestler Billy Graham.
That's see, I was trying to be tricky. Well done. Yes.
Actually, that gave me the Hulk Hogan right there.
The superstar Billy Graham. If you ever look up pictures of superstar Billy Graham, you will see he looks exactly like Hogan looks.
Actually, he looks more like Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, and then
style-wise, yeah.
Jesse the Mind Ventura.
Yeah.
Is of Italian, French, Scottish, and Panamanian heritage. And I was going to enter into the Hall of Fame in 2006. And this was interesting. David, he spent 10 years playing fretless bass guitar for cover bands in Florida before beginning his lifelong career. Yeah.
You have to have ears for that. That's great.
And then 12-time world champion. So what do we got? What do we got for a score now? Keith's got 3, right?
Yeah.
And Pete's got 3.
Hulk Hogan plays fretless bass guitar.
Yeah, that's what he did when he started when he was 16, and then he went to a wrestling match and he saw the superstar Billy Graham and he saw how ripped he was and he decided he wanted to get all built up, and so he was all built up and playing guitar, and then he always kind of liked wrestling, and he was in some band called Ruckus, and somebody I forget who it was, but I think it might have been Vern Gagne or somebody saw him and just suggested, hey, have you ever thought about wrestling? And then they
just goes to show, never judge a book by your cover, because he certainly doesn't look like he has musical ears.
No. Well, it's because they've been grounded in the mat so often.
Well, I just meant, personality-wise, everything about him does nothing about that says he's, musical. So that's a shock.
Anthony, are you there, or did your computer shut down?
I missed the whole last question, but I'm here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I missed the last 2. No, it wasn't you. It was my computer locked up.
Oh, okay.
I heard the first half of Helen Hunt's clue, and then the end of Hulk Hogan.
So we're on item number 9.
Helen Hogan.
We have 3 for Keith, 3 for Pete, and 2 for Anthony. Wow, 2 for Anthony. This is a little depressing.
He's getting warmed up.
There you go. Yeah. So item number 9. Depending on who you ask, it is comprised of anywhere from 4 to 9 elements. While its origins are difficult to discern, it was first given this name in 1978. However, it was not until the late 1980s that it began to have mass appeal.
Aldi.
Hula hoop.
Nice guess.
Nice guess. That was a good pull. But
yours are wrong, I think.
But wrong. Much of this phenomenon has revolved around the idea of updating classic recordings, attitudes, and experiences. Anthony.
Hip hop.
Hip hop is correct. Yes. It is most famously attributed to music, but it also applies to art, spoken word, and dance.
Blah, blah,
blah. And we're all tied up, 3-3-3. So
all right, Steph, make your move.
It's still anybody's game. We got 9 left. Anybody's game. All right, how's everybody doing? Everybody need a drink of water or anything? Everybody good? All right, let's go. All right, item number 10. It can use 1 or 2. It is often highlighted in advertising. It is most commonly associated with computing devices.
Keith,
Keith.
handheld.
Handheld. Way to go, Keith. Good job. There you go. See, you can use one or two. Handheld, one hand or two hands. See? Okay. Everybody's all angry.
I'm just disappointed in myself.
Okay. Here we go. This one. I'm gonna go on a limb here, and unless Anthony's computer is still broken, he's gonna get this one with two clues. But anyway, clue number 1. Born in Chicago, Illinois, and named after a famous singer and actor. Clue number 2. At the age of 7, was recognized as a child prodigy in his field.
Anthony. Herbie Hancock.
There you go. I knew you'd know it within 2. Well done. So, has practiced Nichiren Buddhism since 1972.
How the hell would you know that, Anthony?
Because you said I would know it, and I did a Herbie Hancock clue a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Quit giving Anthony clues.
Oh. Nobody's done HH before, have they?
No.
Okay, okay, never mind. All right, so Anthony, you have 4. Keith with 4, Pete with 3. Correct?
Does anybody else have any?
No.
That would. Item number 12. Has been practiced in parts of Oceania, South and Southeast Asia, West and Central Africa, and Mesoamerica.
Jim.
Headhunting.
Headhunting is correct. Way to go, Jim.
Jim's been waiting on that one the whole time.
Mic drop. I'm out of here.
Yes. Allied forces during World War II took part in the practice in the Pacific Theater. Ugh. There was I read a big article, like the things you find out when you're researching initials. Like Life magazine published a big picture of a woman whose boyfriend had sent her the skull of a Japanese soldier, and he had signed the top of it. And there was just a giant uproar about it, how it was just very poor taste. So,
yeah. Do you wrap it at least?
I'm assuming. But yeah, gruesome. Anyway.
See, you thought I was going to say James Buchanan, and I fooled you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Next item. Jim's on the board, everyone. Scott, what's your problem today?
I thought I had hula hoop, but
hey, happy birthday, Scott!
Oh, happy birthday!
Is it your birthday today?
It's tomorrow.
Well, it's today.
It's 12 o'clock on the Eastern.
Okay, it's 11.
It's 12 o'clock here.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy birthday! We should sing to him. Let's sing.
No.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scott. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to the $74 million man.
Steve Austin hates you.
All right, here we go. Next item. This is a common phrase. David.
Hi-ho.
Though good guess. Very good guess. At least 2.2 million U.S. citizens say it every year.
Anthony.
Happy
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah is correct.
I was waiting for him to say Heil Hitler.
That's
that popped in my head. I'm like, that can't be right.
Wow.
That's because you're missing the middle word, Cheeto.
Doesn't Hanukkah start with a C?
I was going to say, doesn't Hanukkah start with a C? That was where
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
I was gonna say happy holidays.
Yeah, so was I.
I'm gonna give it to her because she's right. Steph is right. Hanukkah starts with a C.
Yeah, Lance.
Who answered it? Was it Anthony or Jim?
Anthony.
That's what
And
I
Anthony gets the point. So there you go.
No, Steph gets the point.
Anyway. So we have Anthony with 5.
Yep.
Keith with 4. Pete with 3.
Jim with 1.
Jim with 1.
I want to give my point to Steph because
Oh,
she's better than I am.
Fine. We'll give it to
He just
Steph.
wants to lose.
Yes.
Well, I've got that covered tonight. Don't worry.
All right.
I beg to differ.
Born on October 10th, 1900.
It's too easy to Google, Lance.
Well, don't Google it then. Born on October 10th, 1900. Enjoyed an acting career that spanned more than 80 years. Anthony.
Helen Hayes.
Helen Hayes is correct. Very good. Won the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1986.
Anthony.
I told you it's too easy to Google.
Before they just handed us out like candy. Anyway.
What did she act?
Did you see the meme of?
Poor Jim.
All right, good. We go to the next one.
Who muted him anyway?
That never gets old, does it?
Jim, the dog's outside.
Jim may be too drunk to figure out how to unmute himself at this point.
It said, "Not Hufflepuff, not Hufflepuff."
Oh, okay. Here we go. And Anthony's beginning to run away with it. So, Anthony with 6. Keith still has 4. Pete with 3. And Steph with 1. One of 8 children born to an Irish-American father and a Sicilian-American mother.
Anthony. Henry Hill.
Correct. I knew you'd get that one. Henry Hill, basically his life is the basis of the movie Goodfellas. And I think Anthony, well, technically Pete could run the table.
I could run the table.
Right. Yeah,
I could run the table to tie.
Yeah. All right, so here we go.
Go, Steph.
Item 16. Can reportedly start over. Item 16. Can reportedly be found in every country in the world. Has been made famous by literature, TV, stage, and screen. Nearly half of Americans have stated to have been in one.
Keith.
Hula
Hula hoop.
I was about to say it too.
Pete.
Good.
Pete.
Halfway house.
How many people?
Nearly half of Americans.
Half. That's 100 million. 150 million.
Yep. Chronic exposure to carbon monoxide, pesticide, and formaldehyde are attributed as causes. Final clue. As prolific as they are, no concrete proof has ever materialized proving their existence.
Barry.
Barry.
Haunted house.
Haunted house is correct.
Wow.
Haunted house.
Good job, Barry.
You go, Barry.
Barry wins just on that one.
Yeah, and that one actually was worth 15 points. So that was the daily quintuple.
I would happily lose to Barry.
Yeah, I would too.
Out of nowhere, after weeks of not saying a fucking word, and comes up with haunted.
I don't see
Well,
much.
Anthony has locked it now.
Yeah.
Anthony has officially locked.
Yeah, but the second place is the one that matters. So
That's right.
born Roman Catholic in Munich, Germany. Keith.
Heinrich Himmler.
Heinrich Himmler is correct. Yes. His godfather was a prince. His choice of job brought him in direct conflict to his strict religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't that strict.
Yep. All right, we got 2 left. Just to play out the string here. So, Keith, how many do you have?
5.
And Pete's still stuck at 3, right?
Yeah, I'm hit a cold spell.
You 2 to tie, and Anthony's locked it up, but who cares? Much like me, lasts longer than advertised.
Barry.
Barry.
Happy hour.
Happy hour is correct.
Here comes up with a surprise winner.
I'm
That
done.
was 18, correct?
That was number 18. Yes.
That was just wrong.
The one possible origination stems from the USS Arkansas in 1913. The sailors would get drunk like before they would go eat. It then spread to the rest of the USS Navy by the end of World War I. Ireland and Glasgow have banned this practice, citing health concerns.
No, it's because they can't build straight roads afterwards.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Last one. Born in Conyers, Georgia.
David.
David.
Hugh Hefner.
Is deaf in their left ear.
Anthony.
Anthony.
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter is correct. Yes. I've only
You both know that, like on the split second. It boggles my mind.
I was actually going to miss it, so I'm glad he got it.
earned their degree from Carnegie Mellon University in 1993. Was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, winning 1. And yeah, 1 year nominated for 2. And then, in my humble opinion, Elastigirl is her finest work.
She was Elastigirl? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be Elastigirl again for.
I love Holly Hunter. I loved her in oh crap, what was that movie with the baby?
Raising Arizona.
Yeah,
Raising Arizona. Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona is my second favorite Coen Brothers movie.
I Need a Baby High.
Yep.
Maui Chris was mad that you didn't pick Holly home.
That wasn't. It's too archaic. I guess I could have for you, so you would have gotten it.
Okay.
I'm disappointed there's no
Nobody's
Dr. Johnny
ever heard of
Fever.
it except for Anthony.
I was sitting on Harry Hamlin the whole damn game.
I want you to choose the initials A-R and see if he gets any.
I just I have to call his mom. I get like 1,000 like anecdotes about his life, and just every answer will be Anthony Riccano.
Anthony Riccano.
I'm the light rifle. Why is there no Dr. Johnny Fever?
Actually, that was pretty good. You had some.
Howard
touches
Heston,
in there I never would have got.
I thought about putting him
Where
on.
was Hal Holbrook?
Hal Holbrook.
He was one of my
Hurst
options.
Helmsley. What the hell?
Hey, I thought about putting Hunter Helmsley, but that's not his real name, and I don't know. It was just.
Yeah, you do that shit all the time. Like that's just gonna stop you.
Well, I had 19 of them. I was going to have 25.
So angry.
Yeah, so salty.
You come down and go to happy hour.
Days, but Anthony.
Yeah, really.
So who finished second?
That's what I want to know.
Keith.
Who finished?
Keith.
How many?
Keith finished second. I finished third.
Keith,
5.
5?
Keith, how many did you
Yeah.
have? 5?
It was
All right, hold on. I'm
8-5-3.
tweets.
8-5-3,
All right.
and then Barry with 2.
That was a good one though. That's competitive. That was a good job, guys.
Hold on. Here we go.
Good job, Barry.
Yeah, good job, Barry.
Keith in second with 4.
And
Sarah guessed Keith in second with 4. Maui Chris guessed Aldi in second with 6.
way off.
That's
a suck up. That's a suck up. He wants a special deal. He wants a special deal on the BGG.
He wants that VIG badge right there.
Okay.
Oh, love for David. Fuck.
Hold on.
Oh.
Javier guessed Keith 6.
Oh man, they're all dancing around it, but they can't hit the mark.
Donald J. Trump guessed Aldi in second with 6.
No, not like Joe Trump.
It's going to be huge.
So
Yeah,
alternative facts say that Keith got actually 6 points.
Yeah, Keith, you were swinging, and Barry, way to go.
Barry comes out of nowhere with actual voice.
Yeah.
Brains, beers, and alcohol.
Just a
He's
pretty
there.
face.
That was probably one of your better ones, Lance. You didn't have too much weird in there.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
I tried to make sure it was, and I think having the alliteration on the initials helps a little bit. So.
As much as I hate to admit it, it does.
Yeah.
It throws off the Uber guys.
Yeah, it's So hey, we were talking about TV before we did that. I just want to say that actually, like I'm very rarely like surprised by shows. Like I had people like say Mr. Robot was this really great show, and I watched it and it was okay, but I didn't think it was like amazing or anything like that. But I had a couple people right before it got huge say you've got to watch that Stranger Things. It's amazing, and I remember that was. Every single episode was just absolutely riveting for me. I was stuck and just couldn't not watch it. I was just it was so good.
I just finished it, so that's exciting.
Stranger Things is one of the best shows I've seen in the last couple of years.
Agreed.
I mean, obviously, because it tied into our childhood a little bit, but I mean, and plus, like I said,
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it.
No, okay, but obviously, like I'm really, really proud that I found my old Demogorgon in it here.
The thing about Stranger Things that was really outstanding was when they switched from one storyline to another, you never felt like, oh, crap. You always were like, oh, yeah, I want to see what's going on with the storyline.
The only part that kind of bugged me or whatever that
All right, I'm gonna sign off.
No, I'm not gonna say.
Well, just write something in chat when you.
No, I was what? Okay,
he doesn't want to hear it.
Muting yourself does not make you not hear it.
No, just the stuff with his mom just got old. I mean, that was like kind of like it was that seemed a little trudging, but everything else was really good.
All right, let
I
Aldi back in.
I just started watching Travelers.
All right, I gotta go, guys.
All right, go have another bourbon, Jimbo.
See you, Steph. See you,
Late, dude.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Anyway,
I've told you to get back in here.
Traveler.
The new thing on Netflix.
I've heard of it.
Okay.
What really surprised me was when Doctor Who showed up in the last episode.
Killed everybody with a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
I also really dug Luke Cage. I thought Luke Cage was a really good show.
Yeah, that one was a bit too slow for me.
Yeah, it was. I felt like I was just sitting around waiting for something to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good show.
Guys were a little weak.
I feel like all those Netflix. I mean, the only one I liked was the first season of Daredevil. I mean, I started watching second, and it was like, just stopped.
Well, it had like that really. I mean, they introduced the Punisher, which was fine or whatever.
I think I saw up to the Punisher introduction.
And then, like, the final episode with the Punisher was just dumb. It was just absolutely stupid. I don't even know why they did.
Don't say anymore.
Yeah, I'm not. But I mean, it was just, it was one of those things where it's like they had written it so well, and then they just like kind of just like pooped the bed at the very end. So
I haven't seen Jessica Jones. Haven't seen.
Jessica Jones is pretty good.
Yeah, it's worth watching. But it also, it's also.
Is it 8 1 hour episodes?
Yeah, it drags a bit too. I'm excited to see Iron Fist.
The best part about Jessica Jones is the crazy chick in the apartment building.
I don't know. I like Purple Man. I think he's pretty cool. The guy that plays him is creepy as all hell.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, he played Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Oh God.
David Tennant.
If I'd known that,
he
I
was in
wouldn't
Harry
have watched
Potter
it.
too. He was what's his name?
The guy's son. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where Jen picked him up.
Crumb? No, not Crumb.
Yeah, Crumb. Crumb. Yeah.
Did anybody watch the AI? IA?
OA.
OA.
Yeah, it's
not bad.
Really good. It's
I
really.
didn't like the ending. It's like it felt disjointed to me for some reason. Like
because
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
because they all do that. They all do that now. Lance, they don't. It's they play to Lance's hate. They're like, Lance is watching this. We better not actually end it on a good, like, satisfying ending.
Oh, is that what it is?
Because the next season is.
So does Stranger Things end on a satisfying ending?
It
Where are the rest of them?
tells its story. It tells the story that it wants to tell, and I think but then it does a good job of that, and it ends kind of like the way it should, but it leaves the door open for the next season, basically.
Is it like the 4th season of Breaking Bad?
Remind me what happened at the end of the 4th season of Breaking Bad.
Can I say it?
Oh, it's a TV show. It's like 15 years old by now. I mean,
so they basically didn't.
I have never seen Breaking Bad. Don't assume anything. I don't care if you spoil it though.
The camera. This is like in the finale, like the last 1 minute of the show. The camera's panning down by the pool, and it shows that plant that they used to kill the kid.
Well, theoretically, possibly, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
No, without
like one little, like it's like literally like a 30-second like reveal. So that gives you season 5.
So to describe the end of the last episode without giving out anything, basically you've had a story that they slowly but surely give you the information about as the show continues, and then so you have like this purpose, like this singular purpose of the entire first season is to do X, and X has an ending. Like that purpose eventually has an ending, but then basically they have 10 minutes on the end.
Yeah.
That
sort of
that opens up the net for the next.
It's sort of
so it tells you a really, really good story over 8 episodes, and it's. I mean, I don't normally get scared at movies because it's like, I mean, and I understand like the whole process of like, okay, so we're gonna put you in a kind of a dark situation. We're going to play music that actually plays directly to like your inner lizard brain fear, that you really don't have any control over it. But if you take a moment to tell yourself, okay, it's a movie. Why am I getting scared? This is ridiculous. You can overcome that, and I'm pretty good at that when I'm watching like a horror movie or something like that. This one had definite like creepy moments. It were not like jump scary, but like just creepy situations. And creepy to me is scarier than jump scare. I mean, because jump scare is like, okay, so it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Oh my god! 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 And then bam, and then it's over. It's just
the fake.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So no, and then this one, like I said, had some really, really nice creepy situations that were going on, and plus, since it's a throwback to your childhood, it's a throw. So I can't believe you haven't watched it yet, buddy. I mean, you'll love it. I'd be stunned if you didn't like it.
It's on my list. There's just so much to catch up on, and right now it's hard for me to watch anything. Being stuck behind the computer doing all this video production right now, so I've just kind of gotten off the rails a bit.
Yeah.
I do what you do. I kind of sit there with the TV on, but I can't watch anything I haven't seen, otherwise I won't get work done. So I put on stuff a million times.
Oh yeah, I how many times have I watched Jaws in that TV over there, or
Guilty.
like Big Lebowski, or any of the Star Wars stuff. Just throw it on. I mean, when Quint's speech starts up, I turn and look and I watch it, to watch like some of the finest like few minutes of a movie of all time.
Lance, I love you more by the second.
Yeah, I mean,
I usually pick something that has like 10 seasons of like 20 episodes each, and I just let it run all week, and that's kind of how I do it so that I don't get distracted from work. So I'll pick like Deep Space Nine or some crazy thing like that and watch and that on while I work otherwise.
So I mean, yeah, that's a good question. So, did we talk about Star Treks? I mean, do we ever do that? Like, what's like technically like what's a good Star Trek? I mean, obviously the original series. I mean, it's tough to watch at times just because of how dated it is.
This is a good conversation for me to go to bed on. Good night, everybody. See you all next week.
Good night, Pete.
Star Wars rules.
Hey, great game.
Hey, you can like both, Pete. Oh, he already left.
I love the original series. So
well, I do too. I mean, it's just but you have to ground yourself in the era that it was created to understand why it was so groundbreaking at the time too. I mean, but you know, I mean, Next Generation was obviously
that was a Next Generation junkie.
Yep.
I mean, Next Generation. Well, you know what?
Every Sunday night, I was like on. I
really liked the one where they traveled through time.
Although I missed the first 2 years, I had to catch up.
Or I really liked the one where they had a problem with the holodeck.
Time is a loop. What are you talking about? Those were the best ones.
But it was so.
The Big Goodbye is like one of the best. That's classic sci-fi, like one of my top 10s.
But the only problem I had with Deep Space Nine, and I liked it like everybody else, but to me, I get really bored with a different monster every episode, but no real arc through the series, and that's what that show struggled with for me. That's why I liked Deep Space Nine better later on afterwards.
I didn't like Deep Space Nine.
Did it all turn? It all got political, right? Like it was like a political intrigue.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The first 3 seasons of Deep Space Nine.
I mean, if you're gonna talk, I mean, if you, like the best episode of Star Trek ever has to be the City on the Edge of Forever. No. The original series, The City on the Edge of Forever.
Is that Khan?
No. That is. I mean, admittedly, okay. Once again, it is time travel, and I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot here. But it's Joan Collins plays. And basically the whole premise, and yes, this is an episode that came out in 1967, so I'm not worried about the spoiler alert on a nearly 50-year-old television episode. But basically, they go to the 1930s America, Great Depression. They meet a woman named Joan Collins, and like both McCoy and Kirk like fall in love with her.
Don't they go gangster? Is it with a gangster?
Well, yeah, but the whole thing is that
no, that's a different one.
Keeler, she there's like a thing where they see that like she was going to be struck by a car and killed, but the thing is that if she was to live, if she was to live, she was going to start this pacifist movement and then basically delay America's entrance into World War II long enough that Nazi Germany creates a nuclear weapon and then wins the war. And so they have to let her die,
right? And
it's just like and the end of it is just aren't
they like holding her?
No,
arms or something?
Like she's coming, and then McCoy,
she's coming across to meet one of them.
No. McCoy's holding Kirk at the end.
Yeah, McCoy holds Kirk back. No, Kirk tells. I think they hold McCoy back. I think it was.
No, it's Kirk.
No, because I think whatever it was, and then basically when they realize that, like and then the last thing that Kirk says is, "Let's get the hell out of here." That's all. That's all he says. He's so pissed.
Is that the one where they run into the portal and it's like slow motion and reversed or something?
I don't remember, but the city
like jumping through the portal of like smoke.
Probably. I mean, you gotta remember this is 1967.
In fact, the HD updates that they're doing on Hulu are awesome. They're really nice.
My best episode of Trek ever was Trouble with Tribbles in the DS9 universe. When they redid it. They redid Trouble with Tribbles and had original footage, and then they acted around the original footage.
Oh, here we go. As a curious Keeler crosses the street to join them, she steps in front of a fast-moving truck. Instinctively, Kirk reacts, but he freezes when Spock yells, "No, Jim!" And then Kirk, remembers that Keeler must die. McCoy attempts to go to her aid, but is restrained by Kirk as Keeler is struck and killed. McCoy tells Kirk that he could have saved her. With Keeler's death, history retains its original form. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy return to the Guardians planet where, as far as the rest of the landing party are concerned, the three have only been gone for a few minutes.
Right.
And he confirms that the Guardian confirms time has been restored, and then Kirk says, "Let's get the hell out of here."
My favorite original series episode, though, was the OK Corral one. That's the one that always stuck out in my head the most.
Yeah.
With the really basic sets, but it just seemed like the story really came through. And remember, they had to conquer their fear. The whole episode was them about conquering their fear. Otherwise, the bullets would kill them. They were big bullets.
Oh,
I just thought that was, I thought that was the coolest one.
I like the one with Evil Spock.
Mirror, mirror.
Evil Spock.
Mirror, mirror.
There you go.
Excellent. Yep.
That's
Right
like my
there.
brain as a child, right there.
Yep.
Oh, is that the symbol of the?
Yeah, that's the symbol.
So the evil me
Yep.
would be clean shaven and skinny.
Right.
I wouldn't say a
that's not
word.
gonna happen. But no, the mirror. I think they only did that once in the original series, right? And they did it like 3 or 4 times in DS9. They went back to that universe, or did they do it twice?
That universe existed in. Did they do a next gen version? Of
No,
that?
they didn't. They didn't go back to the mirror universe until DS9, and they kind of made it cheesy and stupid, to be honest with you. They really did.
I mean, there were other ones that
I only really know next gen.
Yeah,
I didn't watch any. I watched a little Voyager. Only
I
'cause it was
I didn't like
it was
Voyager. I
time.
didn't care for Deep Space Nine. I
See,
really
I mean, Deep Space Nine had a lot of problems, but I really liked it. I enjoyed. I just thought that like they had a nice collection of people, good characters on there, and it really and towards the end it really got good. I mean, it really got good.
Well, and
at the end.
you had what I liked about it is like even the heroes were good and they were all unique. You know, whether it be what's his name from the Cardassia or the chick from Bajor. That how am I blanking all this? But like he was always fighting all these different powerful leaders, but they were all really different, and the struggle that he had with each of them was really. So that I kind of dug. Because
I only made it 2 seasons because there was no Trek.
Well, if you watch from season 4 on, it's actually quite a bit better. I do admit season 1 through 3 are pretty weak.
So
Kira.
I loved Next Generation, but it really jumped the shark when Wesley Crusher turned into a space traveler thing. Whatever the hell happened.
I like the episode where they get in trouble and start Fleet Academy or whatever. And they have to. They're like covering up the accident. That was pretty good. Remember they were doing this unapproved formation in the spaceships, and they get like one of the people died.
Oh yes,
Like one of the kids died, and it was their fault, and like they were covering it up.
Yeah, I remember that. They had a lot of good holodeck episodes so that they could do everything else that wasn't on the ship.
I actually watched a
I don't think
documentary
they
of that.
abused that. They didn't really. I mean, I guess I put myself back in that time, and those were like always my favorites.
Oh, I mean, they used it quite a bit, but
The weird ones, right?
it
Ones that
mixed it up, right?
That's actually the one that introduced me to Star Trek.
Which
The Next Generation. I remember watching it with my grandmother.
well, I've said this story before, but I mean, I can remember the very first episode I ever watched was with my dad, and it was with the really bad like lava monsters that rolled around and ran over people.
The Horda.
What
they're called?
I forget what it was
Yeah.
called. Yeah, and it was, and then
Telepathic
Spock
lava monsters.
and Spock mind melded with one, and then they found out that basically they were like killing their eggs, and they had no idea.
Yep.
And then and so that's why, and so and I remember I saw that, I thought I was just so like stunned by it. I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is kind of crazy. And then that was, I mean, I was what, 5 or 6 at the time. So this is long after the show had been on, and it had just been syndication. And I remember my dad saying to me, because my dad said, "Oh, this is what's going to happen." And I remember saying, "How do you know what's going to happen?" And he told me, "Well, I've seen every single episode." And I was just like, and I was just totally blown away the idea that like somebody could see every single episode of a TV show. I didn't understand how it worked. I just thought like TV was always constantly being created, and and just so like it would just never end. I didn't see how that happened. But yeah, but I remember that, and then I started watching with my dad all the time, and then and I really enjoyed it. And so then eventually I've seen once again, just like him, I've seen every single episode of it. So
I don't think I've seen every episode.
well, I mean,
it's only 3 seasons, right?
Right.
But it's 3 like 40 episode seasons or something. Isn't it like 40 episodes?
There's 69 episodes total.
69 total. Okay.
So the best episode is actually in season 1.
Which one's that?
It's like episode 4 or 5. It's called like Naked Time. That's the one where Sulu thinks he's a Three Musketeer and he's got his shirt off.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then Spock gets feelings.
Yeah.
Is that with the
that's what
the plants,
the
gas
plant, right?
plants?
Yeah.
Yeah, it brainwashes them or whatever.
Yeah.
They all get infected, and it turns them into something that they're not.
No, the plants one is different because they all get peaceful in that one, and they had to learn to anger them for them to burn off the effect. The Naked Time was some kind of airborne virus or something that
and
got.
Next Generation did their own version of that.
Yep.
Too.
Yep. Naked Time was good though.
Keith said no.
Oh,
I
Keith.
only got like 15 minutes myself.
Amok Time was probably voted the best Star Trek episode ever, if I remember right.
Well, the original series, the Scene in the Edge of Forever is
number 2.
Amok Time.
Depending upon who you which poll you reference. So, but yeah,
I'm looking at the Business Insider ranked episodes.
Yeah.
When I need an answer, I go to the Business Insider or whatever.
That's the one that came up first.
Ponfar episode.
The first one, the number 1 is Balance of Terror.
Oh, that's the
Balance of Terror is a very good episode too.
Yeah,
yeah. That's the Balance of Terror. Yeah, that is a really good one. That's tough. I don't know. I got to give it to because Joan Collins, of course, timeless.
He was hot.
Yeah. So.
All right. So according to Business Insider, this is the ranking. So it's Balance of Terror, City on the Edge of Tomorrow, Trouble with Tribbles.
Oh, Trouble with Tribbles.
Devil in the Dark.
That's the one with the magma monsters.
Yeah, that's the Horta.
And the 5th one is the Space Seed, which is the con one.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Balance of Terror, because that's the one where.
What is it with Business Insider doing weird shit like that? Are they just using their Google juice to try to get the top search ranking?
I don't know. Hold on, let me see what this is ranked.
Balance of Terror is when he says when he makes the Romulan says you and I are of a kind or whatever. In a different instance, I would have called you friend or something.
Yeah,
it's the first time they were the Romulans, though. That's the deal. I think Business Insider is trying to get millennials to actually pay attention to them. I think that's all they're trying to do. Trying to get people who would normally tune into their website to tune into their website.
Okay.
But yeah,
has anybody played the Star Trek Panic?
I own it. I've played it.
I've heard good things about it. I haven't played it.
It's more to it than the
Yeah, everybody says it's the better one.
The Castle Panic. There's a couple more interesting things.
I did enjoy Castle Panic.
If you go to Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, they have the Klingon bird of prey that can remain cloaked while firing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually piloted by a brilliant Christopher Plummer, also something that you may or may not be able to see, Christopher Plummer, that one, he's got the eye patch, and he's got the the thing screwed into his head. So it's it's just there.
Yep.
The screws, each one of them, actually has the Klingon symbol on each one. So anyway, but
planet,
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, but in the scenes where he's the Klingon bird of prey is circling, but it's cloaked. If you watch, they actually did put the slight shimmer that before anybody else notices, before they say it could possibly be this. If you watch really closely, you can see the slight shimmer in the view screen still. It's kind of like how they.
I remember seeing that in the movie.
Yeah. It's kind of like how they if you watch Predator and you watch it really, really closely, you can see the shimmer of the predator in the jungle before they actually like reveal it. But yeah. Ah, yes, yeah. You and I would be called friends, something, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to blow up my ship because you can't have my cloaking device. Which is...
Yeah, it just seemed odd to me. Well, I guess they did get cloaking in DS9, right? I remember, like,
There was a
something...
Yep. Well,
I was always wondering why the Federation never got the cloak.
It was only on the Defiant, and that was because of a treaty they signed. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And even on the Defiant, they were never actually supposed to use the cloaking device.
The Defiant was the one that like they didn't have shields. They were just like the hull was like super strong or whatever.
Yeah, a blade of shielding. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff.
It's kind of like a little battering ram, basically. Small, powerful.
The latest Star Trek.
I haven't really paid that much attention to it.
Neither have I.
I watched it on the plane. Watching it on a 6-inch screen though is like kind of suck. I have to watch it again.
I used to get really excited about anything Star Trek coming out until they did Enterprise, and I was so let down. But I mean, I ended up watching it and it was okay. But I think initially I was just really let down because it didn't feel Star Trek-y to me. It felt more like Babylon 5-y to me or something like that at first. But after a while, I watched it.
Oh, I never got into Babylon 5 either. And I had so many people. But I had like my one or two friends that were just like, "Oh, Babylon 5, it's so amazing!" Wow. I was just kind of like, I remember trying to watch it as well and not being.
Isn't that weird how like some shows just grab you and some don't, even though they are thought to be good?
Yeah. Well, and the thing about Babylon 5 was like it was just like, I mean, I think this is my problem, and maybe some of you experience this as well, but like any show that has that has like people that follow it that are just like, you know, near orgasmic about their joy over the show just kind of turn me off a little bit. And I realize there's probably shows that I get all weird giddy about as well. But I mean, no, I mean, because people, Babylon 5, what was in like the early 90s, and I had friends who were just like, it's better than anything that's ever been watched before or whatever, you know. And I was just like, and they were just talking about, you know, Straczynski, like he was just like, you know, this brilliant mastermind of storytelling. I was just like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know, you know, just like, yeah, it just drove me crazy. Like,
I liked it. It certainly wasn't, at least to me, it wasn't the best. I mean, I know that any Star Trek had the strongest writing. I mean, Firefly had much stronger writing.
That's not saying much.
You know, it's. I don't know that any of those earlier sci-fi shows really had strong. I mean, and look how many of those came out and they lasted like 5 or 6 episodes and they were gone. We had a whole string of, you know, sci-fi that came out. They just couldn't get the writing right for the longest time.
So a new show popped up in my Netflix yesterday. It looks like I made it 12 to 14 minutes in before I stopped it. Frontier.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was just like, so it's supposed to be about people like that are gonna go trap animals or something?
Well, have you seen The Revenant?
Yes.
The Revenant is awesome.
That's about that guy that got attacked by a bear and lived in whatever, right?
Yeah,
he crawled 10 miles.
But Revenant is really great. I was hoping to channel that movie into a series of some sort, and it might, but I don't know if I can get through. I couldn't get through 12 minutes of it, so
it wasn't that great.
I don't know if there's been
anything,
if it's worth it or not.
With Jason.
Have you watched it, Barry?
Yeah, I was hung up with the back. I watched all 6 of them or whatever it was. It was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the greatest. Yeah.
I just don't know if he's an actor to be the lead of a series like that.
What's that?
You know what I'm saying? I don't think Momoa's a strong enough actor to lead a series like that.
No, that was part of the problem with the series. He's
not
not strong enough. Yeah.
I mean, you know, in Atlantis, he was okay because he's more of a side guy, and you know, but he always plays the same kind of tough bully.
Yeah.
King Drago, whatever type.
One note actor.
But yeah.
Yeah, the premise of it. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say I saw that when it popped up, and just because of him, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be like the Tom Hardy character in The Revenant, which is like the bad guy.
It's like a hyped up version. It's it's
the new
all action heroes are now. Yeah.
But it's pretty cool the day and age we're living in with the binge shows coming out. Like the Man in Hightower? It looked pretty cool. I want to check it out.
I'm almost doing that now. That's a really good.
There's 2 seasons, though, right?
Is the second? Yep. I didn't see the second one yet. The first.
I'm gonna possibly get ridiculed for this, but the show that I actually like, I was trying to think. I was gonna say until I could remember the name of the show. So, there were like shows that I got all crazy about, and I thought were amazing that none of
Facts of Life.
No,
episode 6 of the third season.
It was on Sci-Fi. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and this is it was towards the end of the 90s, and it ran like 4 seasons and ended on a cliffhanger, and they got canceled. But then they actually got like a little mini series basically to wrap up the show. Farscape.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen any of it.
I heard about it, but I never watched it.
I watched it. I liked it at first, but for some reason, it got too cheesy for me. Too cheesy. At first it was all right, but a couple seasons in, it lost my attention. I
really, really like that show. I just I like the fact that they actually had Muppets that were like part of the show. They were like. Really? Yeah, and so
like
it was
crystal type things.
Well, no, like one of them is this I can't remember the guy's name now. This like little tiny like first of all, the ship is a character. Like the ship is like
on the stars.
No, it's like well, I remember that show. That was great. But yeah, it was a living creature or whatever. No, oh yeah, Rigel was. I looked it up. I had a cheat, but Rigel, diminutive creature, was once the ruler of the Hynerian Empire. And then he was deposed, and yeah, he was a total puppet. And then when nervous, Rigel expels helium, often causing his annoyed crewmates to complain in high pitched voices.
The last Stargate. That came out. It only made it a season.
Stargate 1?
No. It was kind of like BSG in the way it felt. What was it called? Stargate Universe? I think it was Stargate Universe. That was actually really good. That was probably the best writing out of all the Stargate series.
But Stargate SG-1, that was Stargate 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Stargate SG-1.
That was,
because SG stands for Stargate, so the name of it was Stargate.
Does it? Oh, really? It's a little repetitive.
Yeah. It's kind of like people who say PIN number and ATM machine.
My ATM number?
Or
ATM machine.
ATM machine, automated teller machine.
So which person was the Muppet? I see it.
Yeah. And I think the entire it wasn't dumb, it was awesome.
It's awesomely dumb.
You should watch it again and see if it's still awesome.
I mean,
we're so jaded now; it's not even funny.
Oh, I know. I went back. I mean, full disclosure, I went back and tried to watch it again because it was all the episodes were on Netflix, and I couldn't get through them. I was just like watching. I was like, I watched this. I like this.
You guys gone to go through Black Mirror season 3 yet?
I haven't started that one.
Final episode. You guys, this homework. You actually have to watch the whole season though, because the last episode in the season actually calls back to some of the stuff in there. So you have to watch.
I did it in reverse and didn't realize.
They're an hour each, and the last one's 90 minutes. And then the last episode is fantastic.
All right. Did you guys watch the last episode of Sherlock?
Yes.
I've seen no Sherlock.
No?
Okay, that's the best show ever. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, I don't know what's the best show ever.
The 2 best show evers you guys have seen, I have not seen. What is that?
But I would say I was very disappointed with the last episode of Sherlock. Very. Did anybody else walk away from that going, "What the hell"?
I've heard a lot of negative things about it on my.
Yeah.
The problem is that it could possibly be the very last one ever. So I think that's why everybody's really even more disappointed. But
that is the last one?
well, we don't know. It's possible.
I thought there was another one this season. Okay.
So, well, I think it's more dependent on these guys. Ever since that show came out, they're now the most they're so hot that they're doing all these movies all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's more of it than anything. But when you're only putting out 3 episodes a season, and those seasons don't necessarily come every year. I mean, remember, this started back in 2010, and we've got 4 seasons of Sherlock.
Yeah,
So
that's 2 shows you guys have.
It's 12 episodes. It's 12 episodes, but it's
they're
brilliant.
like 2-hour episodes, right? They're long.
Yeah, an hour.
I think like 90 minutes average or something like
I
that.
saw the first episode, but I don't remember anything about it. So I need to.
It's a great series. The last episode was done.
So
I was really.
I'm 24 minutes into season 2, so that's as far as I made it, or episode 2.
Yeah.
Season 1.
Well, do you think it's a matter of the writers trying to keep up with the hype that they created around this show?
I think they were trying to out Sherlock, and it just didn't come off well.
Yeah.
What
I think
series is it now? 4?
it's in 4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, there's not many of them. Only there's like 15 of them, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like season 3 had the most episodes.
Yeah.
And well, season 3 had a Christmas special on it. The last one, the 4th episode or whatever, is a Christmas special. Yeah.
You have to watch the Christmas episode of Black Mirror too. Homework.
Now, oddly enough, the episode had absolutely nothing to do with Christmas.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember if Black Mirror actually has anything to do with Christmas either.
I've seen all the Black Mirror stuff. I watched it in reverse, though. I watched season 3 first because I didn't realize.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then I watched 1 and 2. Yeah, it was a good series so far. Yeah, I don't think I've seen the Christmas thing, though.
Kabuki's saying no spoilers, so we won't spoil anything.
Yeah, we're not spoiling anything.
Did any of you ever watch Lex? LEXX?
That's what I was trying to talk about or think of, because everybody uses that as a cult classic, and I couldn't stand it. Did you like it?
What was it about?
It's tough to get into. It's once again, it's an organic spacecraft. It's like this weird. It's just a really weird show.
Weird. It's weird to be weird.
Yeah, basically, like it's all about they accidentally steal this ship, which is the most destructive weapon in these 2 parallel universes or whatever, and like. Yeah, it's just like all these weird characters. I mean, like there's this guy named Kai that's on the show that's like this like massive assassin, and man, I mean, you'd have to look it up and read about it. But yeah, Lex is, and plus it is just effing weird. It's bless you. And the only other thing I can think of that was really weird was Tripping the Rift, which was this very weird cartoon.
I remember that name. What is that? Tripping the Rift.
Tripping the Rift. It was like this really weird cartoon. Stephen Root did the main voice. Yeah, it was tough to explain once again, but also really odd and strange and
Tripping the Rift. Yeah, I remember they did like an internet short to kind of launch it,
and also very adult.
Yeah, super adult and like didn't they have like a Darth Vader kind of Duck Vader?
Yeah,
or something like that?
and it was just it was.
I thought I smelled Vaseline. That's like one of the lines that I just popped in my head from the old video that I remember seeing.
Well, yeah, and it was just like, and then like basically the girl on the show was like a sex robot that that like that the guy chode that that accidentally upgraded her, so then she wouldn't have sex with him because like she thought better of herself or something like that, and yeah,
Darth Bobo.
Yeah, Darth Bobo. There you go.
They made 3 seasons of that crap, 20 minutes each.
It was supposedly like
Electra's in it.
For the longest time, it was like one of the highest rated shows on Sci-Fi. Basically, because like nobody realized how dirty it was, and I think it was just a bunch of.
It was all innuendo, right?
Oh yeah, in Yoendo. Yeah, but yeah. So worth a look if you're bored. I mean, I probably watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes total, but weird stuff. Yeah, definitely. Did you ever watch the show Helix that was on Sci-Fi?
I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that movie, that show was so bad. It was
Isn't everything on Sci-Fi kind of not good?
it was so awful, but I couldn't
Off is awful.
I couldn't stop watching it. I just, because it was so bad, I had to see what was going to happen, just because it was so horrible. And they actually, like, the first season was just a train wreck, and then the second season, and somehow they got a second season. Then it was put down. It was a mercy killing, and then they didn't. But yeah, definitely. You could watch it for a while. It was on Netflix, and that's where I watched it all. So, but yeah, definitely awful. Definitely awful. And yeah, very, very much a sci-fi show. It's kind of like that Warehouse 13. Like, I couldn't really get into that. Somebody said that was interesting to watch.
I loved that. Was the kind of cheese I like.
Well, it was such a Monster of the Week show. It reminded me. It reminded
like the Friday the 13th, the series.
See, I like Friday the 13th.
I did too. Every time I saw it, I was like, "Wow, that's pretty interesting." And it was on late at night and nothing else on.
Yeah,
this was like Eureka. It was kind of that style of sci-fi. It was more humorous type sci-fi, but some of the effects were cheesy. That one was more. I liked it more for the character interaction. I actually liked the character interaction. So, but right now there's a couple local guys here in town who are designing a Warehouse 13 game.
Yeah,
actually,
they pitched it. I know those guys. They're good guys.
So
known them for a bunch of years.
Yep. But I like that show, and I think Eureka is probably actually one of my favorite sci-fi shows of all time.
Eureka.
So here's a couple of weird things that I was thinking of. That two things, like totally not related. Two things that are coming. One, the Royal Rumble is this weekend, which is my absolute favorite pay-per-view. It's the only pay-per-view that I'll make a point to sit down and watch. Most of the pay-per-views I'll just see with the results, and then I'll go and I'll watch just the matches that I want to watch just to see them. So I am really, really excited. You guys aren't wrestling marks like I am, but I am a total wrestling mark, and I'm excited to watch the Royal Rumble just because I like the random people that show up. And yes, and Kenny Omega, as Cardboard Congregation said, so Kenny Omega is a wrestler in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's been one of the top wrestlers for like a long, long, long time. And he recently, his contract, he had to drop the belt because his contract was up with New Japan. And the big theory is that he signed a contract with WWE and he's going to show up at Royal Rumble, and I can't wait. If you one of the things is like, and if you just type in like Kenny Omega Wrestle Kingdom 11, which was their recent pay-per-view held at the Tokyo Dome, he has a 45-minute match that is just absolutely amazing. And if you're into that thing, but if you're not, you're not. That's fine.
If WWE was like that, I would watch it.
Well, and hopefully they'll So yeah, it was. Was that okay? Sorry, thank you. He didn't lose the belt. He lost his title shot. No, so really, really good stuff. And so I'm excited that. And secondly, normally, like when I play video games, I play games that like are like action filled, stuff like that. I have been absolutely totally consumed with a game called Stardew Valley, which is basically a like top-down classic like RPG like game from old school, but also you're tending a farm. game. And I would have never thought that I've been this excited about stuff. But like literally every morning, my character gets up and gotta go water all my gotta go water my plants and feed my chickens and make sure that I have this, that, and the other thing. And like there's all these little side quests and things you can do. There's like a mine that has monsters in it you can go and fight. But yeah, so Stardew Valley, you can download it if you have like any. You know, if you have a PS4, you can.
That's what it is. It sounds like Harvest Moon.
Yeah, so it's like a reimagining of Harvest Moon, and it's so good. You will just you will watch time vanish when you play Stardew Valley. It's so much fun. So that's my what.
I just can't do it.
From Raw to Royal Rumble to Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I am picking. You heard it here first. The Royal
Consciousness.
If I have to guess at a Royal Rumble winner,
what is a Royal Rumble?
Okay, the Royal Rumble is basically you start with
32.
No, 30 guys. There's 30 people.
In the ring, and you enter in an order.
Yeah, you enter in an order, and then basically the only way you get out is by being thrown over the top rope, and your feet have to hit the floor. And so
there's always guys hanging on like
exactly
kind of crazy back arm.
If you're Kofi Kingston, you like last year, like he landed on his hands, and so he walked on his hands like back over to like the steps, and then he got his feet on the steps, and he walked and he got back in.
And they let him.
Oh yeah, because his feet didn't touch the floor.
I mean, just like it's so crazy fake though. I mean, come on, like can you just keep the guy from like not coming in the ring?
No, so here's so you've just like so you're calling wrestling fake. Okay.
I'm not saying fake. It's basically engineered.
It's scripted. It's scripted entertainment.
Scripted entertainment. No question that the moves are real.
No,
I'm sure they heard.
Thank you. It's scripted entertainment, just like all your other TV shows. Yes. The only difference is that it's live. You know. So
yeah. No, it's just kind of funny that it's so crazy popular.
It actually had a downswing, but it's really picked up in the last year or so.
What do they call it when they have like a big day of matches and it's all like in a special arena? It was at AT&T Stadium here last.
Well, it's either a live show or a pay-per-view, you know, that they had.
Yeah, well, they had like 80,000.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a spectacle.
Texas or AT&T Stadium.
My guess, I really hope they don't do something dumb like give Cena the win or anything like that.
Don't they usually give the win to somebody that's just big?
Well, they usually do. Hulk Hogan's the only person ever to win 2 in a row.
Who won last year?
But the big thing about when you win the Royal Rumble, that's your shot at the title.
Then you got to have a match against who's the champ right now?
Oh, who's the man?
I have no idea what wrestling it is.
AJ Styles, formerly of the Bullet Club in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then also he was in TNA for a long time. I'm a total Bullet Club mark for like they're basically like over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like if you're a gaijin, if you're not Japanese,
I know what it is.
You are. Racing. You're in the Bullet Club because the Bullet Club are totally evil and they're the bad guys and they're frowned upon and everything like that. But the Bullet Club's getting over. They're kind of like the NWO of the late 90s in the WCW now. They're just like nothing to me.
The WCW.
Okay, well, have fun. How much does it cost? $40? $50?
No, well, I have the WWE
the package,
channel.
So you get to watch it online.
Yeah, I pay $10 a month for WWE channel.
He got a job in the game industry, so he could watch the video.
Just stream all day.
Yeah,
stream all day.
I can just say, hey, it's I'm working. It's great having I like watching like old like 1980s wrestling matches, you know, because like you see how far. Yeah, and like
didn't Superfly Snuka just die?
Yeah,
wasn't he like under indictment or like for murder?
He was. He was.
Or he actually was cleared of all charges about a week.
Oh, he was.
Okay. Well, he was only cleared because he couldn't remember anything because he was
temporary
Well,
insane.
and quite likely they realized that he was not long for this earth, and so what were they going to
Yeah.
do? You know, I mean, it was just kind of like whatever.
They'd
Just
already waited 30 years before they arrested him.
Wow.
You know. Yeah.
And didn't they actually got a wrongful death claim against him, like, you know,
Yeah, I think so.
A civil court.
Because it was just one of those weird things where, like, you know, there's just, you know, he says he came back to his room and his girlfriend had been beaten to death,
Right.
but you know, he wasn't there, you know. So I mean,
that she fell or something. Remember, one of the most iconic wrestling things I'll ever remember was Roddy Piper and Superfly Snuka when Piper hit him over the head with that coconut and it shattered.
Oh yeah, and then the funny thing about that is that like I was watching and Roddy Piper no longer with us either.
Right.
Piper actually said that it wasn't a gimmicked coconut; it was a real.
There's no way.
Coconut.
And it didn't kill him.
And he said, "Go back."
Pretty cracked.
Go, well, maybe, but still, that's gotta hurt. And he said, go back to the thing after I took it and I broke it over his head. He said he gets on top of him and he keeps punching him and punching him and punching him. He said, because I knew he was so mad that I broke that over his head. I said, I knew if I let him get up, he would have gotten up.
Are there any like really good like wrestling documentaries out there? Like for idiots like me?
I mean, I would very, very strongly suggest watch the Death and Resurrection of
Jake the Snake.
That's
kind of a sad story, though. I don't know,
but no, it's
something more like a
no. Watch it because it's about his life and it's about him turning his life around. I mean, it's like you get done watching it and you're just like, you know,
like a high level.
I never
like it. I want a Jim McMahon documentary.
A Jim McMahon documentary?
No,
Why?
It's his business, right?
There is a Bret the Hitman Hart documentary, and there is one on
Wrestling with Shadows. That's a great documentary, actually. If you
there's a
I need to
couple
watch The Wrestler too. I know I need to watch that. It's supposed to be really great.
That is a really good movie. But yeah, Wrestling with Shadows is, I mean, because that was when Hitman.
Just watch China's documentary.
Oh yeah. Her porn movies don't count. No, Brett, because Hitman, like, that was the biggest, like, that. Well, because you know the story, right?
Yeah.
So basically, WCW was gaining more and more excitement, and they were killing then WWF in the ratings, and a lot of people say like they came really close to driving WWF out of business. It was but they made some mistakes or whatever, and obviously now WCW was actually like purchased by WWE. But anyway, so Brett was going to leave. He was going to. They basically WCW said we'll give you $1 gajillion, come and wrestle with us, and he said fine, but he had the belt.
Mm-hmm.
He was the champion. And so he was in Montreal, Canada, and he was scheduled that pay-per-view to wrestle Shawn Michaels. And he said, it's like, I'm not going to drop the belt in Canada, but I will do, like, the very next month, there's another pay-per-view or something like that. He said, I'll drop the belt there. Or whatever. I forget the actual timing, but he basically said, I'm not going to do it in Canada. I'm not going to do it in my hometown. When we go back to New York or whatever, I will drop the belt. But for whatever reason, Vince McMahon was scared about the idea
that's what I know.
Yeah, Vince McMahon, he was scared about the idea of Brett like leaving the company with the belt, like, and just how bad that would look for him. And so they basically conspired to break kayfabe, which is like basically like input real life into a scripted material. And he basically Shawn Michaels put him in a submission move, and like he put him in his own move. He put him in the sharpshooter, as per like the script of the match, and then the ref called for the bell immediately, and so they handed the belt over. And even though he hadn't tapped out or anything like that, and so it was just this like thing where it was like, why did you do it and whatever, why, so it's the Montreal screw job is what it was called. And the crazy thing is that actually led to Vince McMahon, who was totally like a total face owner. It totally changed it up, and it switched things around, on and like basically that kind of helped the whole impetus of Vince McMahon being the evil rich owner, whatever, which actually helped his helped the whole process a great deal. So, but anyway, yeah, but if you watch, and then shortly he went to WCW, and shortly after that is when his brother died in the ring, Owen Hart, and so it's like, so he was the hitman. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to
Netflix DVD, but not streaming.
Yeah,
I canceled my DVD thing.
Well, nobody has the DVD thing anymore.
Yeah.
I think my sister and her husband do, and they're like the last people in the world.
The only reason to have it is sometimes they keep shows that you can't get off the streaming.
Yeah.
So if there's this particular show you want to see, you can still get it by DVD.
Possibly keep it on for it.
I'm sitting here like
Criterion left Hulu. I was going to Hulu to watch a Criterion movie recently, and I'm like, where did all the Criterion movies go? They're gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna cancel my Hulu membership.
Yeah, I'm gonna cancel it too. It's like pointless.
Well, yeah, there's nothing on there. I mean, nothing. I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, you can watch brand new shows like the day after they're on, but still, it's just like with all the commercials and everything. Hulu is just, no, thank you. And they're
all the stuff's gone.
Netflix owns everything, and like whatever crumbs are left, Amazon picked up. And what's really weird,
original content now anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're not there to watch
TV.
Yeah, I mean, especially now with all the other different options that you have to watch, like, and even movies. I mean, it's just like I have the HBO thing. Okay, so I'll turn on HBO, and it's like, oh, there's Michael Clayton, like one of my favorite movies, Michael Clayton. I watch it every time I want.
It's actually curious. I saw you post that. How did that become one of your favorite movies?
It's just one of those things where it's like it's not in any rush whatsoever to tell you its story.
There's actually a quite harrowing scene in that movie that just brings chills to my blood.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just like holy shit.
At his apartment, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't spoil it.
Yeah, I'll leave it. Well, once again, it's a 15-year-old movie or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's not that old. But still, it's actually quite a significant part of the plot. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, it is.
But it was like, holy shit! It just like makes you think of how crazy the world is.
But I mean, from like top to down, top to bottom, like the people that are in the. I mean,
it's a good movie. I remember when I saw it first time. I watched it several times.
Yeah,
but it's just interesting. I would never say it's like one of my favorite movies, but like,
it's just so well acted. I mean, and because like you never. One thing that I always hate when I'm watching TV shows is or movies or anything like that is when people talk in a way that nobody would ever actually talk. I mean, like my wife really enjoys the Gilmore Girls, but I'm like listening to it and I'm like, nobody talks like this, and it pulls me out of the world that they're trying to give me. I realize it's a bit fantastic and everything like that, but it's a TV show. But like, at least have legitimate dialogue. Nobody talks that fast and has quippy little one-liners that quickly. It just doesn't occur, and so it pulls me out of the immersion factor, if you will. Yeah. So, and that drives me absolutely crazy. And so, like when you have a movie like
one of my friends was suggesting Being Human. Like Being Human is like pretty intriguing story. I don't you know anything about it?
Yeah, I know about it. Yeah.
And I turn it on. I'm like, this is basically TV drama writing. Like it's got that pattern.
Which version did you watch?
American.
The English version is much better than the American version.
Okay. Yeah.
But then the other thing that drives me crazy with that is, it's like, but even good TV, even good shows do the things that drive me crazy. I mean, I've railed against this a few times, and I apologize for rehashing the same stuff. But I mean, Game of Thrones, it has like several scenes where two people are talking, there's nobody else around, yet they always refer to, we must let him know what we're doing. Yes, yes. Does he know our plans? Oh, I don't know. Where is he? You know, there's no two people would talk vaguely about this third person. The only reason you're talking vaguely about the third person is so we, as the audience, have no clue who you're talking about. It's like it draws me right out of the situation and like makes me go, you know, it was one of the things that actually made me very happy about the last season of Game of Thrones when you see when you see I can't think of names right now. You see the Stark girl writing the letter.
Sansa.
Yeah, Sansa. When you see Sansa writing the letter, and like, yeah, it's a quick little scene. But if you take the time to go back and pause the scene and watch it, you can actually see that she's writing it to Peter Baelish. I mean, it's like, so you can actually then like
freeze frame it.
Yeah, you can freeze frame it and reveal the plot to you. It isn't just like, oh, we're going to have her write in this letter and it's going to be gibberish or anything like that. I appreciated that about it. If you want to go ahead and ruin the surprise for yourself, feel free. You can see what it is. And I think that there's a bit of fan service that's given to people that, like, if you want to, I think writers now realize that people want to hash and rehash and try to figure out, like, look at the Star Wars movie, like The Last Jedi. Like, how many people have said, oh, does that mean like Luke's gonna die because then Rey will be the last Jedi, you know? And all these people are just back and forth. Well, you know, Jedi, the Full Lord Jedi is still Jedi, so it doesn't mean anything, you know. And just like, and so like, and I think they do that purposely now because they drum up the information and keep people excited. Look how many fan theory videos are out there about who a Supreme Emperor Snoke is, you know, everything like that. I watched a great one about the theory that he's actually Mace Windu, which I thought was fantastic. I was like, yeah, it probably isn't true, but it's a great idea, you know, that's who it is. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's
There's this channel I've been watching. I like the Star Wars movie, but like if you put a laser to it, it like doesn't hold up. And she does this pretty well. It's just a woman monologuing to the camera, and I will tell you what it is in a second. I can't think of it. Jenny Nicholson. She basically has a channel on YouTube, and the title of the video that caught my eye was "Top 10 Worst Reasons You Liked Rogue One." So if you have about a half an hour, actually it's 24 minutes, watch it. I'm excited for the next Star Wars. I mean, whatever. I thought Rogue One was fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting a huge amount of thought into it. Look at, you know, other things in my life. Like Arkham Horror, the card game. Holy shit. Love that game.
I'm still waiting for my copy.
The base set?
Yeah, it got held up with a pre-order. I don't remember what the pre-order is now.
I've got a like a large. I keep telling myself I should just tell. I got like 6 or 7 things sitting at Miniature Market all on hold, and I keep telling myself I should just flush it. But then I'm always like, I don't really need any more stuff right now,
But you know what? We were deck building, which was shocking to me because I was thinking like we're just gonna throw cards in a deck on Saturday night. We started at 11, and you know by midnight we're starting the game because we deck built for an hour, and we didn't even realize the time just slipped.
Yeah, that's not.
I know I'm not selling it, but like it was really fun. Like, and believe me, I'm the laziest person there is when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, I want to get into the game, but I was actually like putting brain power into the deck building. Anyway, might be my game of the year.
Really?
I have to
early. I got it before it came out, but I've only been able to play it one time, so I can't.
Do you like solo gaming?
I do like solo gaming. I just haven't had the chance.
Yeah.
We're launching a couple initiatives. You know, we were launching a couple initiatives this month. And one of the studios I hired to do some of my video work when I'm too busy didn't get it done. So that's why I've been up every night till 2, 4, or 8 in the morning.
The midnight oil.
Yeah, trying to get all that. all that done. So I just haven't had the chance. But that's actually one that I'm dying to get to the table.
So if you just do the setup, the basic setup, like you can get started in 5 minutes, maybe 10. Like you don't deck build, you just throw you just throw all the cards in the deck, or all the cards of each color in the deck, or mostly. The deck was in the book, right? In the book. There's no brain power to it.
Right.
You just start.
Right.
But I love it.
And I know we played it one night, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be really."
Now this was the revamp of what, Lord of the Rings?
It's sort of like there are Lord of the Rings type aspects to it, but it's super. It's different, right? There are you're doing progression of like agenda, your act. They call it. There's agenda, which is like the enemy progressing their agenda, and you're progressing the act, which is like doing skill checks in the world and advancing. And there's different rules for advancing, so sometimes you'll be investigating, and sometimes you'll be doing other things.
I'm always impressed though how they can make an Arkham horror game, and they each stand up on their own without feeling like a retread.
Right. The cool thing about this though is there's a lot of familiarity to it. Like if you've played all the Arkham horror stuff, it's got a lot of those elements, but in a different way.
Right. But
all the
it still
characters
feels
are
like
from Arkham horror. So. No, it is pretty impressive that they can keep it together actually.
Yeah.
Which must be hard.
Yeah.
Fantasy Flight has figured it out.
Yeah.
Somebody sent
You
me.
mean Asmodee NA?
I mean Asmodee North America.
That's why I made
Fantasy
that
Flight
comment
still
earlier.
is FFG on the box.
Yeah, still FFG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although what was it? It was Days of Wonder that sent out the Fantasy Flight notice today.
Oh, what was that?
Something about I don't know. I think it was a Fantasy Flight login, but it came from the Days of Wonder email address.
Oh yeah, they're combining the online accounts together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're merging.
I didn't get a chance to read it. So. Yeah. But that's why I made that comment earlier, Lance, about getting paid almost nothing to work in the board game industry. Because somebody emailed me yesterday with a Fantasy Flight video that's all completely 3D'd out and rendered and wanted to be paid me $250 for it.
Who did that? That was a Fantasy Flight video. They used that as the thing they wanted. That was like a full.
Well, they said. Yeah, they said, "Can you do this?" And I said, "Well, absolutely." I'll do that. They're like, "Well, we'll give you $250." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a whole week's worth of work."
So, like, is $100 an hour like a reasonable rate? Like, that's probably. I mean, that is on the high end.
Well, for that type of video, you're going to look at for professional studio. You're going to look at a minimum of $150 an hour up to $550 an hour. I charge $150 an hour. For basic video production, you're looking at $75 an hour, average. Here in a moderate community. If you're in California, it's going to be double or triple that. So, but for that, for that 30 seconds, that's easily $1,000 worth of work.
No, it was pretty impressive actually.
Yeah,
I had some issues with the timing of things, but like it felt like there was too much text and too little board. But that's minor.
Right. So, but I mean, people send me stuff like that, and I don't know if it's because people just aren't fully aware of how much work this takes, or if people are just so used to the board game industry being on the cheaper end of things to pay for stuff.
Yeah, everything's a discount.
Yeah, and it just, I was like, God, I mean, that's a whole week of work just on that one video, and the render time alone will kill my machine. I couldn't do anything else with that machine, my computer.
Yeah, you would
while
need
I was
to
doing
offload that to like a render farm type job.
Right, and my farm is at the studio downtown. Yeah, right. So that's the stuff they just don't realize. So that's why I get frustrated with all these people who are like, well, that's only a 30-second video. No, it's not a 30 seconds in length.
15-hour video.
It's about it's 15 hours.
2 days solid
of programming. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy, but it is gorgeous. They do amazing work with their stuff. Very impressive.
I didn't know they were re-releasing that game. I hate it, by the way.
They are?
The Game of Thrones board game.
Well, that's one of my favorite games, but
I just hate it. Like it brings out it. Well, it shows as a diplomacy game, and I'm not good at lying and getting lied to. And then
so they're doing a third edition of that now.
It might just be a reprint of the second. I can't remember exactly what the video said. It's definitely a Game of Thrones board game.
That is the game I teach the most every year.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so intriguing to people. I
don't know. They all
guess
want
it's just because it's the license, right?
Well, I think it's because
actually really fun.
Yeah,
I think. Well, I think for
not for me.
If you had the right table, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
why don't you like that?
Because I don't like deals with people and then basically getting backstabbed.
Yeah, my sister's like that.
I think.
Yeah.
I think part of it is though because it's
100% of the game. That's a really long game.
Well, you'd probably like it a lot more if you played better.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
And I don't like backstabbing people either. I don't like basically being the traitor. Unless it's like a 15-minute game, like Resistance or something. Werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
In most of the games we've played, I don't think there's been a whole lot of backstabbing. I think most of the people are they'll make that alliance for a round or two, and then they're kind of like basically, all right, I'm done with that. Yeah. And just be aware, I haven't seen a ton of backstabbing, but yeah, just
normal kind of gaming, and that's fine. But there's like some game I've been in a game, and I specifically remember it that the screw got put on me in two different ways, and you're basically like, okay, well, I'm out of this game. There's really no coming back. And the way the cards cycle in that game, you can't come back the way those cards cycle in some ways. And maybe I just didn't know how to play it as well as I could have. But when it's a 4-hour game, I am a Care Bear Kabuki kid.
No.
Hey Scott, happy real birthday, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's 12:30 for me.
Last year at Tennessee Days, I'll end up teaching that game probably 8 times over that weekend. And last year, one time, somebody wanted to start playing at like midnight. They wanted me to start teaching at midnight. So we got all these people together, 7 people to play or whatever it was.
Finish it like
and
6
one of them was a husband and wife. But the problem is she ended up sitting right next to him, and she was Lannister and he was Greyjoy. She wouldn't attack him. Yeah. She would never attack him. And it just totally ruined the whole game and allowed him to, do whatever he wanted.
Right. It's also one of those kind of games. Like if there's some kind of alliance that's made, either spoken or unspoken, it can wreck the game for the other 4 people. Whatever. There are plenty of other games for me to play. I don't need to rail on that one. If people like it, that's fine. I'm not going to rain on their parade. I just won't play it.
Right.
Well, I remember the very first version of the game, Greyjoy could get hemmed in.
Right.
Always the ones with the ships. Yeah. You could get hemmed in, blocked, and you can't move out of your port. That was in the first. They fixed that rule.
Well, no, that was Lannister. You'd get hammered.
Was it Lannister? They could get hemmed in. They get pinned.
Well, they could.
But then they made the port rule, so you could actually build a ship in the port.
While you could actually there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I played the version. That was broken.
Right.
Anyway, whatever.
So
games in the sea.
I know we all got to probably go to sleep or whatever, but I just want to actually say I was very sad to hear that Mary Tyler Moore passed away. So, obviously, I'm a big fan of that show. I remember watching it with my parents all the time. I mean, she had a good run, so I mean, we're not gonna, say it was taken too soon or anything like that. But I love that show, possibly because it was based in Minneapolis, so I thought that was kind of cool that it was nearby. And if you ever want to see her, okay, so she had this role of her being this very genial, very friendly, very very warm person. And then she basically took that and completely turned it on its ear and was in Ordinary People. And she, if you haven't seen the movie Ordinary People, you really, really should. It was Robert Redford's very first movie he ever directed. And he won the Academy Award for director for it. And I mean, she plays a character totally not to type, and it is and for a movie that isn't this was when movies were made when they they didn't, it wasn't a remake or anything like that, but it was one of those things where it was it was a total character study type movie, and you watch as this family that's going through this this giant tragedy, how they're dealing with it and how they move forward. And really, 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 really good movie. And you know, you got to make sure that it's not an exactly cheerful movie either. You are going to you're going to feel a little sad you know, and distraught when the credits roll. But very good, very, very, very good. And actually, and I remember we talked at one time about like movies. So we were talking about shows that nobody liked or anything like that. There is a movie that I didn't even know existed until I mentioned my unabashed love for Tom Wilkinson, the guy, the actor, a total character actor. He was in Michael Clayton as the renegade lawyer. And so somebody was just like, oh yeah, you should really see the movie In the Bedroom. And I was just like, what?
Oh, man, that's a bad one. I mean, rough.
Yeah, it is. He's like, you should really watch In the Bedroom with Tom Wilkinson in it. And you know, and I had never heard of the movie, never heard anything about it. And so I went and I watched it, and yeah, that movie is really, and Sissy Spacek is in it. And yeah, it is not an easy. Yeah, Marissa Tomei. I mean, it is not an easy movie to watch, and it is. It definitely does punch you in the face a few times, you know. And man, and I had no idea it had like gotten nominated for Best Picture and Best Actor and Best Actress. Yeah, I mean, it was just like it didn't win any, but I went and watched it, and oh my gosh, was that a good?
I can't decide if I want to watch Punch You in the Gut movies anymore, like more than once. Like I can't decide if I want to live like, you know what I mean? Like what was that movie? The one it was in the Clues one week with the Downward Drug Spiral movie with
I know what you're talking about. Just a horrible movie. Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream. After I watched that twice, I'm like, why am I watching this for the second time? And then I've kind of had this weird feeling about watching really sad movies twice. Yeah. Anyway, just my personal take on it. I'm sure it's great.
People have watched Steel Magnolias millions of times, or you know, the other one that came out back then that was really sad. What was that? Oh damn! It's everybody's reference for, you know, the ultimate chick flick, or not chick flick, but you know, women's movie with Sean.
Madison County.
No, it was the daughter has cancer.
Beaches? Beaches? Huh? Steel Magnolias?
Steel Magnolias.
Steel Magnolias.
Oh, yeah, was that it?
Yeah, that's the one with the daughter with the cancer. My wife watches that religiously.
Aronofsky movies, yeah. Although I do like Black Swan. I can watch that more than once. I've watched it more than once.
I've never seen that completely through.
Yeah. No, the
fuck. It's good. It's worth it.
You know, In the Bedroom, and this is have you ever
Terms of Endearment? That's what it was.
Oh, Terms of Endearment. But Aldi, okay, think about In the Bedroom for a second. Have you ever seen a movie that has a subplot about revenge be so unsatisfying?
I don't think so.
I mean, it was just like, you know, you talk about revenge movies about people that like get their just desserts, and like you see like movies like Taken and stuff like that, and you're just like, yeah, get him, you know, you're all, and then and you watch that, I'm just like, oh, I mean, I just like, oh, it's so tough to watch and just so awful. Yeah. And I had no idea, and of course I'd seen the show Lost, and so like the complete and total a-hole in Lost played the complete and total a-hole in that movie, and I'm like, well, I can see why they got him to play that role, because just
what's his name?
Oh, I can't remember. He's a total character actor type of thing. Let me look it up here. William Mapother. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's always the bad guy.
Well, he's not one of those faces.
Yeah.
It's just you just want to smush it. But yeah, good stuff, and just yeah. And, I will leave you this one last thing, and I think everybody should watch it. I've gone on and on about that the YouTube channel Cinefix about how they
subscribe to it.
Yeah, that
I don't know how they make those videos, man. It's so much work.
Oh, and then they
pulling all the scenes and crazy.
I just but the thing about like the top like 5 emotional movies of all time, that is like a half hour, and you will find you will like be moved just watching them talk about the like the top 5 most emotional movies ever. And yeah, good stuff. So if I can plug them for the millionth time, if you haven't started watching that YouTube channel, Cinefix is what it's called.
Oh,
and
it's a Mashable studio. That's why they get all that money.
Well, I don't know if they have money or not. All I know is
it's big money.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, but they they do good work, and they're good, and they are good in it.
Kind of curious how they pull off all the copyright issues.
I'm sure the fact that I
mean, they're pulling long bits of video. It's not just 5 seconds. It's like 10 to 15 seconds. Sometimes it's the whole scene.
But yeah, it's the top 10 most emotional movies of all time. Yeah, watch that.
It's possible they get permissions. There's ways around it.
Well, and obviously those movies are just pushing people to go and watch them yet, right? So I mean, it's going to help. It isn't like they're saying these are the worst movies of all time. They're not doing anything like that.
Well, and I mean, again, if you're only getting that many seconds, like here, they're doing side by side comparisons. Right?
I mean, some of their videos are definitely they're pulling out really key moments of movies and putting them all in their entirety.
I mean,
maybe they're getting permissions. You could buy permissions to put video in your video.
You don't even have to do that. You don't even have to buy it. You just have to request it, and then they give it.
And they might give it to you, and may not.
Yeah. So
we wanted Superman.
If it's 15 or 30 seconds, most people aren't ever going to care. If you try to say, well, we want to do 20-minute clips, then that's when they start to have real issues or whatever. So, I think with something like this, the studio itself as a site, Mashable has an incredible reputation. So I think they're probably doing okay with that. So
yeah. Also very good if you just want to giggle and laugh. Cinema Sins is also a very, very good. Those guys have a great sense of humor. And Cinema Sins, they basically they go through a movie and they talk about everything wrong with X.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and they rake those things. They're so good, and they're just they're very topical. They're very funny, and they definitely.
This is one of those ones that I feel like they rake stuff worth not raking sometimes.
But that's. I enjoy it. They do.
I mean,
they do a good job.
Yeah, I think they do a decent job. It's just sometimes I'll watch these and go, that's a non-issue.
One of my favorite things is they said during the one for the Running Man with Schwarzenegger. I mean, they're just piling up the sins for all these things that are just incredibly stupid about the movie. And they get to that scene where Schwarzenegger says something along the lines of, it's like, well, you better leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to jam it down your throat and rip out your goddamn spine. And he pauses, he goes, all right, I'm going to take 5 sins off for that line right there. Just like removes 5 sins just for that line, which I found pretty funny.
I have to go.
And then I remember when they went and they did like the Mad Max, the most recent Mad Max movie. They said, we know we're gonna do this, but let's just say right now, this movie is fucking awesome, and so yes, we are going to tear it apart, but mind you, this is one of the greatest movies we've ever seen. And then they proceeded to start taking it apart, which was a really good movie. That last Mad Max movie was amazing. I remember sitting in the movie theater just like with my mouth just open, watching that Mad Max movie.
Yeah, that movie.
I didn't see it.
Was something else.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but it was definitely good. Absolutely.
It was.
Which was shocking to me. I was actually surprised at how good it was.
I just
love Tom Hardy.
I did not have high hopes for it.
I did like the meme that went out showing the guitarist, the flamethrower, and it just said, "Everybody said don't be a bard. Bards are lame." They said,
That's right.
which I thought was great.
I can't remember what they said. They said that guitar weighed like 85 pounds or something like that.
Well, it'd have to. He was all suspended and
huge.
Held up. I thought that was great too. He was just like, as you see him, he's like sleeping in the hammock, like just totally like out. And then as soon as they start moving, he just pops up immediately. He just goes right into the metal riff. Like,
there's many good points of that movie. You can pick it up.
Well, I mean, just like little scenes that don't make any sense. Like what? I mean, they kind of like give you a glimpse into like possible. Well, yeah, like the fact that like one of the coolest things. God, we keep talking like we always do. But one of the coolest things.
I gotta go.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Like
5 minutes.
Okay, so one of the coolest things about like the Road Warrior, Lord Humongous, he's sitting there. It's like just walk away. He's got the hockey mask on and everything like that. When he goes to get that big giant 44 Magnum with the scope on it, and he opens up the case. When he opens up the case, if you freeze frame inside the case, there's a picture of a family in there. Like basically like before he got mutated and whatever he was.
His original life.
Yeah, his original life. It's like so you have this moment where it's just like he wasn't always like. But why even put that in there? But they just put that in there, just like. And so like,
I want to watch Road Warrior again.
Yeah, so no. Here's this thing. Remember in the scene in the Mad Max movie where everybody's the scene where like the guitarist is sleeping and everything like that, and then the actor or whatever playing the big bad guy, I can't remember his name offhand right now, but he's just kind of weirdly dancing and like humming that weird song. He's like, he's just like in his own little world, like like who knows what. It's just like a glimpse into, was he always just some completely insane psychopath that
The thing I like about that movie is you just get the little tiny pieces of the weirdness of the world, and there's nothing said more about it.
Yeah, there's no exposition.
There's there's a bullet farm, and there's a guy who's like the leader of the bullet farm.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, that's all you know. That's all you get to know. We're going to go trade for bullets. Like, okay.
Yeah. No.
So when you're watching these movies, Lance, are you constantly pausing scenes? Does it take you like 5 hours to get through a movie because you stop every other frame?
No, but I mean, I don't know. My father instilled in me a very, very, very whenever I go see a movie with my dad, like afterwards we go and we grab like we grab a meal or we grab a snack or something, and he'd sit and talk to me about the movie. And because my father was a director. He directed stage plays for a long time, and he never dabbled really into movies, but he read a lot about directing movies and read about a lot of stuff. So he often said he says that when he goes and sees, he loves going to the theater, he loves going to musicals, he loves all that aspect. But he said the thing that it's tough for him, it usually takes him a good 20 minutes before he can actually just relax and not be looking at the staging, and seeing, the director picked this for that moment, and that's why he's doing this. And because every single place of every single item of every single person of every single thing is like, it's there for a reason. It's there to like draw reactions out of crowds, and he sees that. And so like he would always talk to me about that stuff afterwards. He's like, well, you realize they did that because of this and that, the other thing. And so like ever since then, whenever I'm watching a movie, it's like I'm hyper criticizing it in the back of my head the entire time, and I'm actually like seeing the scene and trying to like discern things, and it drives my wife absolutely crazy because like I'm always and so like there's stuff like that I always just pick up. I mean, after the fact, like sometimes I'll I'll go back and I'll see a certain scene like that, like I thought was really, really cool, and then just watch how they frame it and they put it together. Like Snowpiercer was a movie like that. Like I mean, I remember like I felt like I had held my breath the entire time when I watched Snowpiercer, just because it was such a crazy effing movie. But then I had to go back and watch certain moments again just to like kind of see how they did it. And so it's, I mean, I don't know, it's stuff like that.
A bit more just to get some of the Easter egg stuff. I don't do it because I don't usually have that much time, but
well, you don't really need to see the Easter egg stuff. You can just go to any website and they'll tell you, and they'll even have the screenshots of it. So the Easter egg stuff doesn't really bother me that much. It's just, I don't know. It's I sometimes I wish I didn't, because I also tend to, like I said, the last Star Wars movie was like the first movie where I finally just told myself to shut up and just enjoy the movie, because I was constantly like, oh, it's like, why would they have this? That's stupid. Or why would they have that? That's stupid. And like, and then I was like, you know what? Yeah, I finally just had to say, you know what? It happened like that because that's the way the movie wanted to tell the story. And there's no other reason for it, like, so when I did that, I was actually able to really enjoy that. I mean, like I couldn't like that the new Star Treks, like the first new Star Trek, like really bothered me on so many weird levels. It just like, why do you have a giant beach ball of this liquid that you only need one drop of? Just like things like that. It's like, oh well, Spock couldn't leave early because we had to make his ship that's really fast. Well, how about you just give him a slower ship and let him leave right away? Just stuff like that just drove me crazy. And like I should have just settled down. And my wife thought that movie was great and she just loved it. And I'm like criticizing it the entire drive home, and she's just like, why can't you just like things?
Sometimes it's hard to be us, right?
You
can't just like stuff.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay, I gotta go.
I know.
Are you guys gonna stay on?
No, I think we're gonna shut her down.
Okay, I don't want to call you off. You're gonna keep going.
No, we'll call it.
I need to get some sleep.
Well, thank you everybody for taking the time to be on here and hanging out and talking and whatever. And our loyal fans, we appreciate you more than anything in the whole wide world. So just
absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Anybody got anything weird coming up? Make sure you give Aldi $1,000 for his VIP tickets. Got to keep the lights on. And,
you need to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Hey, what about Barry? You gonna crank up the old podcasting machine anytime soon?
I don't think so.
Aw. Maybe you and I should just start doing a podcast a month, talking about life.
Why my life isn't that exciting?
You can be you can too young to feel this damn old man in a chair talking to Lance.
You can talk about how
Origins.
Are you gonna hit Origins? Are you thinking?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like I said, the hotel sold out so fast.
Yeah, all the hotels are sold out.
It's becoming an issue.
I can't even get the diamond level room that the Hyatt Diamond level gives you.
Oh, no wonder you got to get $1,000 for those.
No. They give it to us because we run the show at a Hyatt, so I get points. And as a diamond level person, you're supposed to be able to have a 72-hour window before you go to a room at any Hyatt in the country and be able to get a room.
Yeah,
I did it last year. I ended up canceling it, but I was able to get one. This year, I can't even get one.
Well, did you complain? Did they give you more? They give you double
we
diamond?
We worked out something else, but whatever. I worked something else out.
I Airbnb it last year, and it worked out great, and it cost me
cool.
$40 a night.
What'd you do?
Did you get the house to yourself?
No, but it was a massive house, and I never saw anybody the whole time I was there. I just Airbnb'd it, and I was only like a 10-minute drive away, and it was fine. It was perfect, no issues whatsoever.
Huh?
So
I remember we almost Joel, Eddie, and I almost rented this house for Gen Con one year that had 8 bedrooms. It was like this crazy thing and it would have been like a 15-minute walk to the convention, which would have kind of stunk. Yeah, we could have Ubered there, Ubered back, or whatever. But and we had it all lined up, and then the guy sold the house like 3 months before.
Should have bought it as an investment, man.
Yeah. No
Every
shit.
year you're gonna save like your thousands of dollars in hotel fees for 8 bedrooms. $8,000. How many thousands of dollars do we spend at hotels at this convention?
The Cabal guys do, not the Cabalists themselves, but some of the listeners do that every year at Gen Con Origins. They run a house.
Who? The Cabal?
It's guys who listen to the Secret Cabal podcast. They there's a group of them, Groove and Reuben, and about 6 others, I think. Yeah, it's 6 or 7 total.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Well, it would be good to see at Origins if possible.
It's all these cons. It's
You
a
go
lot
to
of
Game
things
Trade
becoming
Show?
a pain in the ass.
Anybody
Yeah.
on the Game Trade Show?
I will be at Gamma, and
Not sure.
Game Trade Show.
I'll go. I'm going to MeepleCon right after as well. So
I'm taking the red eye back to Dallas to get on a plane to go to Fort Lauderdale for the cruise.
nice.
Pretty crazy.
Well, I'll
Like
see
the most
you.
craziest travel plans I've ever made.
Well, I'm like, not to keep talking, but I mean, for Gen Con this year, I'll go to Gen Con and I will get back, and then literally I will get back Sunday night, and then Monday morning at like 4 o'clock, I'm getting in a car with my dad and my brothers, and we're driving up to Canada to go for a week-long fishing trip.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, so it's like I'll come home, I'll see my family for approximately 3 hours, and then I'll be gone again.
The best time.
But
I
I
love
get
that
to go.
time of the year.
my wife's boyfriend really likes it.
Yes.
So, but all right, brothers. I'll
Cool.
talk to you. What? Who? What? Who? What?
See
All
you
right.
guys next week. Super Bowl predictions next week.
Next
week.
Yeah, next week. Yeah, next week.
Next week.
And my Royal Rumble pick, I'm going to say
The
I'm
Miz.
going to go. Nope, I'm going with the Undertaker. The Undertaker's entering it, and this is probably going to be his last year wrestling. I say they give him the win. That's my guess.
I'm going with Goldberg.
I think they're going to have some sort of trickery where Goldberg gets eliminated by Lesnar. Lesnar gets his revenge, and then that'll set up their big match. So that's my theory.
Isn't Lesnar under drug allegations?
Well,
that
yeah,
was for the
in
MMA.
MMA.
Oh, that's MMA.
Yeah.
They don't care about that in the WWE.
There's no allegation.
They
There's no allegations. He was caught doping twice and had to pay $250,000.
They have a personal wellness policy within the WWE, and people have been
Only due to
suspended
death.
for it. So what? Yeah. Well,
I picked the
Only due
Miz,
to
and I have no idea who that is. I just know I've heard the name.
he's well, no, I don't think he is the Intercontinental Champion right now. Maybe he is, but yeah, he's actually one of the better heels in the show. The weird thing is the Intercontinental.
Nope.
No. The weird thing is
Go on.
the Intercontinental Champion is actually the number one challenger for the belt, but they never seem to do that anywhere. I don't know.
Okay.
Imagine that. All right, we're out. Before we get
We're out.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.
Internets.
Patriots by 7. I'm out.
Bye.
Ah.
Bye.